Greg Cote, do you know any of what Jason Benetti and Boog Shambi did last night, or is everything we're about to unveil for you going to be a total surprise?
The latter.
A total surprise?
Yes, I watched none of the baseball, partly intentionally because I thought it would come up today and I wanted to be surprised. I'm eager to say the least.
How many do you want him to have done to be satisfied? Catchphrases on the Tigers-Rays, your catchphrases on the Tigers-Rays broadcast, how many would be enough for you to be happy about it, or thrilled even?
Okay. Happy, any. Thrilled, 3 or more.
Jeremy, how many did he do?
9.
What? 1 per inning, or how does that work?
That is how that would work.
What? Oh my gosh!
I believe you just added a catchphrase that I have not. Yes, I've not heard. that is not on there, is it?
I know. I haven't said that in years.
That
That's
is
why it's going to be 70.
Further away from the mic, please. Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
that's good.
Mike. I'm just a little worried, Mike. In general, that we're feeding his narcissism too much.
Yeah, yesterday was a little rough. You know, it's one of the great go-to jokes, but also what the Le Batard Show does famously is run jokes into the ground.
Yeah.
We cannot continue to run Greg Cote's narcissism into the ground. It's essential for our likability.
But he delights in it so much, and he's so happy, and he's at his worst and his best when he dips into the depths of the narcissism. Did Boog do any? Because I'm pretty sure he forgot. I have not heard anything. Did Boog forget on one of the busiest days of his life to do any of the catchphrases?
I've not heard from Boog.
None of us can reach Boog. All of us are trying to get a hold of him to find out. Meanwhile, Benetti's in the middle of the broadcast, like time-stamping stuff and sending it to his producer. Like he's just I hate to say this, but I'm going to have to.
He's the best.
He's better than Boog.
Wow.
I hate to say it.
Gives you the inning, the batter. It's the easiest thing to
I'm
track.
not saying he's better at broadcasting baseball. I'm saying he's better at doing our job for us. So Benetti will be on with us, and we will talk about all of this. And also, I came in here today, and I cannot believe what I'm about to say because I thought they were trying to trick me. I have said since it happened that the ball bouncing off of Jose Canseco's head before he got to the warning track and going over the wall for a home run is the best play in baseball history. And I am told it's happened twice in the last couple of weeks in college baseball and Major League Baseball, and not even the time we were talking about 5 weeks ago when we tried to get a hold of that minor league center fielder and he asked us for cash for an interview, and we're like, get out of here. We just want to talk to you about how the ball hit your forehead and bounced 70 feet.
Should have paid him
How much did he ask for?
I don't know. I got to find out because I regret not paying him.
$200.
But now all of a sudden we got any number of people that we can pay because it's happening. It's a proliferation. This is a plague. It's a trend. If it's not a plague, it's a trend. When you have multiple, in the last month, we've had 3 home runs bounce off of heads.
Is it a plague or a blessing?
It's a blessing. It's a gift to baseball. It really is.
So too is Jason Benetti. Let's hurry up and get this thing started so I can get to some of those catchphrases.
Basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a 3 or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and roll. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots. A dagger 3 If you say this game's the best, I'll say Zagak. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. This year, start of the day.
The New York Knicks are playing in the NBA Finals tonight for the first time in 9,840 days. And the hockey championship is unbelievable that the Vegas Golden Knights come back from 2 goals down. I thought when they got 2 goals down, it was all over because all they do is block pucks with their face.
Hockey championship? Right. That's what they call it. Yes.
I have a stat of the day quality stat regarding game 1 of that game last
Well,
night.
too late. We already played the imaging.
It's okay. It's a bonus. Okay, it's a bonus stat of the day. Before last night, teams trailing by multiple goals at any point in a Stanley Cup Final Game 1 were 0-55.
Hockey championship.
Carolina, the first team to blow a 2-0 lead in a Stanley Cup Game 1.
Really?
Yep.
You know what they call that 2-0 lead?
Yeah.
The most dangerous lead in sports.
2-0. Let's get to these catchphrases because Greg Cote is filled with delight right now. We've got 9 of them. I don't know what we would have done if not for Jason Benetti. We're sitting here trying to support Boog's cause, and then he just forgets about us. It's weird. And he put in very little effort into helping us while asking us to put in a great deal of effort to help him.
Wow, very critical.
I mean, you asked us to do something. We were going to raise a bunch of money for charity for you, and then you didn't do it. And so we needed Benetti to bail you out. Nick Wright is going to be here in about 40 minutes to talk about an assortment of things, and we're going live throughout the show and the week this week. But the first of these from Jason Benetti, Roy, give me what we've got. The first of the Jason Benetti, Greg Cote catchphrases that he dropped into Raisin Tigers last night.
You know, you watch the Tigers for a 10-game span over the past 3 years, and what do you learn? Maybe not a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
It's what you learn.
What do you learn?
It's close.
What do you give him for that? You're the one. He's going to be on in about 20 minutes, and we're going to tally it all up, and he's going to match whatever it is that I pay per catchphrase. Tony is keeping the numbers back there. What do you pay for that one? It's $100 for them done perfectly well, $200 anytime he gets the tone right and on a song, if he's willing to do a song.
Yeah, he gets a demerit for not specifically going, what'd you learn?
What do you learn?
And saying it in that cadence. What'd you learn?
I offered before the game. I told him I'd go over them with him. He said, I don't need any help. I'm going to listen back to the catchphrases, and already he's got one wrong. What would you give him for that one? How much are you giving him?
What do you learn?
Well, I guess like he's not trying to do a Greg Cote impression.
He should be.
To get maximum dollar
really should
values.
be.
Yeah, to get maximum dollars for
Right.
charity. Yes, you got to honor it. Look, hee-haw 3, bidet up is not the same if it's just hee-haw 3. Like, he disrespected the bidet up.
Yeah, me maximum.
Learn has to take longer than would you. What'd you learn?
Yeah.
What do you learn?
Yeah.
See, that learn is way too short.
Okay, it was a little bit of an effort. I'm going to reward him with $75.
Okay, so there is a deduction. He's paying a tax. There's a cost. Somebody with ALS is getting less money because he did this poorly.
It's like gymnastics, though. We do count in level of difficulty. And that was a relatively easy one.
Yeah, what'd you learn?
We've got 9 to get to. Gimme. I hope we got something better than that one.
34-year-old left-hander gets a pop-up. Out number 1 as Fiducia puts it away, and we get a message from Tiger Law.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, make Figer Law your first call. Figer Law. All we do is win.
All we do is win.
If it stays like this, he'll be singing in the 8th inning.
Very good.
Oh, help me, Rhonda.
So he did the very good parrot, but he didn't do it the right way. He didn't do
Very
it.
good.
No, that was a very pedestrian effort by Benetti. I hate to say it because this is for charity. I support the cause.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, you know, I'm a strict grader. You don't want me as your high school teacher. Trust me, I'm strict. When I give out an A, it's for excellent quality.
I don't want you with making me comfortable with ALS either.
Well, you know what? You got to earn. Got to want to learn. Got to want to earn. He wants to try, but he didn't want to earn the max.
But Nettie's going to be on with us in a little while. We are going to yell at him about these things because
Very good.
he didn't do it correctly.
No. Very good.
That's the way
That's
that
all
you do
you need.
What does he get for that? Keep those two in the holster, Roy, because those are the two I'm going to be critical about when he comes on. What do you have to say about this, Cody? How much is that one worth?
65.
I think the only thing worth remembering from that clip is Figer Law.
All we do is win.
What a great sponsor for Tigers games.
Yeah, it is.
Figer
So much better than the Marlins one. God.
sponsoring Tigers.
All we do is win.
That is so much. Is that guitar or is that just auto-tune? It feels.
There's a riff somewhere in the guitar there.
It's a good riff.
All we do is win.
He cut out the riff, but there's a riff right after that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and play the whole spot for, like, I'm sure, like, we're giving them free advertising, but there's a reason why that ad stayed in there. We did not need it, but that ad is incredible.
The ad was much better than the parrot.
Right. I'm giving money for the ad.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, make Figer Law your first call. Figer Law. All we do is win.
All we do is win.
Let's play a third one here, see if these get any better.
I'm the kind of guy that likes when the Tigers score 15 runs in 2 games.
Now we're cooking.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's a step up.
I'm
Say
the
it
kind
further.
of guy,
Yeah.
he said it the way that you
He
say
did,
it.
Not quite fast enough, but he ran the words together in a way that he's learning. He's learning. That was good.
I'm the kind of guy
I'm the kind of guy that was an improvement.
Yeah, a little further away.
I'm
the
gonna
kind
give
of guy.
him $105.
Woo, a little tip on that.
Yes.
I'm the kind of guy that
5% tip.
Not much of a tip. When I said a little tip, I didn't mean anything other than it's very little.
Hey, yo.
Number 4 on the list. We're only halfway through. Jason Benetti polluting the sacred broadcast of the Detroit Tigers.
Tigers starting defense brought to you by Marygrove Awnings. Goes like this. Green, Beerling, Perez, McKinstry in short. The double Zach left side of the infield. Torres and Torkelson on the right side. And Dylan Dingler has the plate. 2 Zachs. 2 last names that start with T. And DD. Follow? I'm not going to take a quiz. First pitch to Yandy Diaz.
I'm not gonna take a quiz. He said
I'm not
that
going to
well.
take a quiz.
He said that well. He said that well.
Just said the words.
No, but he had a cadence to it.
I'm not going to take a quiz.
I'm not going to take a quiz. I love the word. The quiz is a half an octave lower than the rest of the words, which is pristine.
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Maybe turn completely around.
I'm not going to take a quiz.
Just let's turn our back to the mic. Yeah, and then just answer questions.
Okay. That was better. That's the best one today that I've heard.
Do you think there are people listening to the Tigers broadcast or watching the Tigers broadcast they watch every day, and at some point they just think to themselves, Jason's saying weird things today?
Yes.
When there are 9 of them, yes. I just want my Spencer Torkelson pure and clean, what I'm used to. I don't want anything else. Mike, you've noticed, and this is troubling to me. The more we delve in his narcissism, and Zaz, I got to think that this is something that bothers you, the more he forgets he's broadcasting professionally, and then what happens is he turns his back to the microphone and is wandering around and just doesn't even know where he is because he's just lost in himself.
Yeah, he's punch drunk on himself. And I think that's a space that we want him in.
Well, I'm a human being, so here's what happens.
You're at work.
When somebody over there is speaking to me, my human instinct is to go like this and speak right back at him. Okay?
But as a professional broadcaster, there are many places, many ways throughout the history of broadcasting that an assortment of people are looking at an assortment of people, and you're the only one who does it far away from a microphone in the history of doing this.
In the age of AI being able to do absolutely everything, AI should be able to follow me when I move.
The others, they all learn from me.
Zagaki.
The Zoom camera has figured it out.
There you go. That's right.
Okay, great. Roy,
exactly
can we
right.
get to the fifth one? Back,
No, I haven't
back
graded
row
that
Chris, getting it done. Give me the fifth one.
Nice chatting with you.
I never gave an amount for that one.
What is the amount? I thought it was $100. Is there a tip?
There's a tip. It was excellent. It's 122.
By the way, if you're keeping tabs at home, which we are here, Catch's Catch Can got $125. This one that you said was excellent got $122.
Yes, that's right. That's a 22% tip, which is about the norm for Greg Cote.
It's usually a little lower.
Depends on the service. Sometimes I bump up into the high 20s.
Roy, give me another one.
Be one of the first through the gates, and you'll receive a printed sun hat presented by National Coney Island. It's the giveaway even Jason Benetti's talking about. Visit tigers.com/giveaways to learn more.
Just because I did it doesn't make it right.
No, you're right.
That is a nice sun hat, I gotta say.
I'm a little underwhelmed with that one, if I'm being perfectly frank.
Doesn't make it right.
I mean, he said the words, but not perfectly. You gotta give that one some swagger. You gotta go. It doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
You
He
know?
said doesn't.
It's imperfect.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't. He is spelling it D-U-D-N apostrophe T.
Yeah, but as the author intended, right?
Yeah.
Like the right has to be right at the end.
Yeah, the doesn't, I don't mind. Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Not
Yeah,
quite.
Benetti finishes high off the glass, and what Greg needs is a little finger roll.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I don't think it's exactly right. You say it?
It doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
My dad goes low at the right.
No, you got to lift it a little bit. Doesn't make it right.
Doesn't make it right.
Got to lift that right. Okay?
How much is that?
Almost sing-songy. Doesn't make it right.
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 Doesn't make it right. I'll do this.
Doesn't make it
all
right.
day. $77.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Give me another one, please.
That's one of those curveballs. You think you have it figured out, and as it crosses the plate, you go, sassafras.
Take your hat off.
That's the greatest tip he can give. Laughing till he coughs.
Sassafras.
It doesn't get much better. Unless it's coming from my lips. It doesn't get much better than that. That's a 190.
Sassafras.
What do we do? Break a window?
That's a 190.
There has to be people watching who are saying, why is he saying weird things?
Sassafras.
I can't believe he got that in there. How? Can I hear that again? Because that has no context for anything. But the greatest, the greatest compliment he can give is coughing far away from the mic.
That's one of those curveballs. You think you have it figured out, and as it crosses the plate, you go, sassafras.
Take your hat off.
I got to ask you to give it an extra $10 because of how perfect that is. That should get the maximum $200. That doesn't make any sense. That does make people worry about whether or not Benetti is sane or whether he's not taking his medicine or whether he's on drugs of some kind. It makes no sense what he just did there. And all over Detroit, people are like, what's wrong with our favorite broadcaster?
Do you think he...
That's one of those curveballs. You think you have it figured out, and as it crosses the plate, you go, sassafras.
Take your hat off.
Okay, I've reconsidered. Okay, first of all, the emphasis on the first syllable was spot on, and a little bit of elongation of the S sound. Sassafras.
Sassafras.
$200. We're going to raise it 10. We're going to call that the optimum right now. The optimum right now is sassafras.
Sassafras.
Who is aware of what's going on in that broadcast?
Only our listeners. That's the thing that makes it great.
No, like his partner, his producer, the director.
Write that down, and we're going to ask him that when he comes on in 5 minutes, so that we make sure we don't forget to ask him that. Tony, where are we here on the amount that both Jason Benetti is going to owe and what I'm going to owe for charity?
So right now we are looking at $644, not including obviously the 11% for me. So we're at 75 for What'd You Learn. Very good. Got 65. Kind of guy that 105. Not going to take a quiz. 122. Doesn't make it right. See how I did that? 77 and Sassafras 200. $644 again plus tip.
ProjectMainStreet.org is where you go if you want to donate, and we will give that money away here after we've tallied it all up. Roy, give me another one, please.
1-2 is a swing and miss. Strike 3. Riley Green is down. That's one of those stats you look at. You go, who made it a salad?
What?
1-2 is a swing and miss. Strike 3. Riley Green is down. That's one of those stats you look at. You go, who made it a salad?
Okay, to Zaz's point, Tigers fans right now are thinking Benetti has lost his mind. They're seriously wondering why is he
being weird?
Right, like that was the weirdest yet, and therefore it was perfect.
Put the microphone just on the floor.
It was perfect what he did.
Just put it on the floor.
It was perfect what he did. $220.
Who made it a salad?
I can't believe he got that in there. That was one of our money balls. Like somebody said that would be the hardest one to get in there. How many we got left here? Because
it's been too long since we've talked Knicks.
Do we have the possibility? Again, my voice has to speak for us and me.
Stop answering back to me.
We have 2 left, and I want Moneyball quality stuff. So, Roy, you believe that we have 2 better than Who Maketh the Salad? You think we might have 2 better than what we just delivered to the audience?
Years and years ago, we did one for Kroger, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. There was a little thing we did with guitars.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Really?
To Wild Thing. Yeah.
Did you make their hearts sing?
I don't know.
You make everything groovy at least?
Wow. Yeah, that year probably.
I would have pegged you more as like a trailer for sale kind of guy.
I know those. I know those lyrics too. Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
Yes. See,
makes you king of the road. 1-1. Misses. 2 balls and a strike on Palacios.
Wow.
Stunning.
Yeah.
There is one better than Who Maketh the Salad and him just breaking into song. You guys think there's one better than that? All right, I can't. What are the options? Give me all the Moneyballs options, because they're
the only one. I mean, we're all hoping for you're going to Buffalo, Bernie Palmer.
There's no way. It's not possible.
Oh, that would.
This building, it opened in 1990. And one of the biggest events it ever held, other than the Rays' that improbable run in 2008 to go to the World Series, was the 1999 Final Four. Jim Calhoun and UConn became a dynasty as there's strike 3, 2 down. But their first ever championship was against the Duke Blue Devils here in this ballpark. So UConn and Jim Calhoun won its first ever title, and it was a big upset. You remember? I mean, when UConn came in here, people were like, it's the same kind of thing like in 1992. You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee? It was that kind of upset. You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee?
Unbelievable.
What a journey to get there.
We should give $1 million.
If I could, I would.
Dan, you should give $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, we did say the Moneyball was $1,000, didn't we? We said that the thing that would be hardest to do would be you're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee. He didn't do it well, but he did it.
Well, the thing is, there's no way to do it
That's
well
correct.
during a baseball game.
That's why it was the Moneyball. There's no way to do it well if you're in Bernie Parmalee's living room.
That's about as nonsensical a path to it.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm nitpicking, he could have gone, you're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie.
You can't
Parmalee?
nitpick that. You can't. That can't be nitpicked.
$1,001.
With a tip.
Yes.
A $1 tip.
Well, it was a bigger tip, but you said I couldn't demote it for the fact that his delivery wasn't just right, but just the fact that he worked that in, and it was arduous for him to get there. The fact that he worked that in is just monstrously
That was unbelievable.
I also
You're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee?
I also need a price for trailers. I never got a price for trailers here.
Oh, yes. Here, let me hear it again because I want to make sure he went low with the word trailers.
Years and years ago, we did one for Kroger, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. There was a little thing we did with guitars.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Really?
To Wild Thing. Yeah.
Did you make their hearts sing?
I don't know.
You make everything groovy at least?
Wow. That year probably.
I would have pegged you more as like a trailer for sale or kind of guy.
I know those. I know those lyrics too. Roger Miller.
Roger Miller.
Yes. See.
Makes you king of the road.
And he couldn't have known that his partner was going to start referencing playing Wild Thing like that. That was essentially improvised. What he did there.
I think it might have been planned. I'm interested in what Jason
Oh,
said.
no. He's really quick. He's unbelievably clever. And I do believe that he's improvising some of that stuff. Like he was just, he's going from, did it make your heart sing? He's thinking about lyrics and how to be funny there. And then he's just throwing your thing on the side. I just can't believe he got Bernie Parmalee in. So and you're deducting points because he didn't sing the song well enough for you?
You need to start low on trailers for sale.
He sang a song to serenade
It wasn't, you're going to go to Buffalo with Bernie Parmalee. It wasn't worth $1,001.
Why are you giving him a $1 tip on the Moneyball of $1,000 for Bernie Parmalee? Because none of us thought he was going to be able to do that one, that there would not be a way. Why are you giving him a $1 tip?
That's why it's $1,000, is because it was the best one.
But you gave him $1,000 and $1 on top of that.
That's a bonus.
But it's not much of a bonus.
You start with $1 and you work your way up. It was a bonus.
Tony, what is the final tally?
I need a trailer dollar amount. I don't have it.
Trailers, the song he sang.
That's a beauty.
That's supposed to be $200 is the maximum for a song.
Okay.
What are you willing to give him for singing a song?
$385.
Okay, $185 tip on trailers and a $1 tip on Bernie Parmalee. Okay, very good. Very good. So here is Benetti now. Thank you for making the time for
first
us.
off,
Yes, and first, yes, let's do this. Yes.
Good job. Good job. We appreciate you.
He's a legend.
All this
You're
for
a
charity.
legend, sir.
All this for charity. Good man.
Zaz didn't stand.
I'm comfortable.
I proclaimed you better
He likes to sit.
Better than Boog. I've proclaimed you because Boog just forgot to do any of it yesterday, and and Benetti came through by doing enough for everybody because he did 9 of them. Were there any, Jason? Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being on with us. Were there any in the holster that you wished you had gotten off and you just couldn't get them off?
So the one-armed paper hanger I was concerned about. I was concerned that there would be an issue if I said that on television.
You were thinking, wait a minute, were you afraid that you were going to offend the one-armed?
Well, as a disability advocate myself, as an ambassador for the Cerebral Palsy Foundation, I had concerns that ambassadorship might be stripped from me had I used that one. There's also, I forgot to ask, I still don't know what the Vern Fuller one is. I still have no idea how to transcribe that.
I just use that anytime anyone says the word full or fuller, like, you eat a big meal, I'm full, fuller than Vern Fuller. Vern Fuller was a baseball guy, so it actually fits on a baseball broadcast more than it would on most other
Maybe
broadcasts.
we should just stand up.
Full count would have been the place to use that, but you crushed it. Okay, we had some criticisms with the some of the early ones because the tone wasn't what Greg Cote wanted. You want to teach him how to do the very good.
Yeah, the very good is a parrot speaking and heard from a distance. So the voice
out of the side of its beak.
Yeah, it has to be like this. Very good. Like that.
Oh.
Try that, Jason.
Very good.
Perfect. Near perfect.
Yes, that's
all right.
So which was your favorite, Jason? Which one did you get off that you were like? Because we were wondering before you came on with us if longtime Tigers baseball people thought that the announcer for the Tigers had either lost his mind or was doing copious amounts of drugs.
That's the scary part, is everybody just sort of nodded and smiled and was like, well, he's being ridiculous again. The Bernie Parmalee one, I hope I got the pith of it right, because it felt like, I didn't know any of the backstory, but it felt like there was some anger that's your running back when you're going to go play Jim Kelly and the Bills.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the day of Dan Marino.
That was a quote from the former Dolphins offensive coordinator, Gary Stevens, who once came into the Dolphins press room and said before they played the Bills and Tom Olivadotti would be, trampled on the sidelines as their defensive coordinator, you're going to go to – you expect me to do my job with Bernie Parmalee as my running back?
Yeah, he was saying that off the record, of course, but enough time has passed where I feel the right to betray him.
That's great. That's great. The one I'm disappointed in is I thought Georgia on my mind. I thought I could get it in being close enough to Georgia, but I didn't trust my ability to be sultry.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you trust Jason Benetti's ability to be sultry?
Okay, Jason, your partner in the booth with you, your producer, your director, who knew what you were trying to do throughout the broadcast?
So I let them know that for Lou Gehrig Day, there might be a couple phrases that they go, hey, that's a little bit more bizarre than normal. But I wanted them to know, just in case I asked them to cut video or whatever. And Dan Petrie is such a nice guy in the booth next to me that I thought he would just get a chuckle out of it. And when I dropped the Bernie Parmalee line, he looked at me and had an enormous grin on his face. Like I had just solved the issue of going to Saturn and living there, right? So I love Dan, and I knew he'd be a great teammate and not sell me up the river on it. But there were a couple after the first game when I told him I might do a couple of these. He goes, "How many did you get in? 8 or 9?" I was like, 4. He goes, "Oh, you said some crazy stuff that I thought was on the list," which I don't think is a compliment, ?
They think you're weird, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Nobody in the audience, you got no feedback from the audience or nothing that was concerned about you? You got no complaints that were like, what is he talking about? He's lost his mind?
Yeah, were people tweeting? Fans must have been tweeting at you, right?
Your show fans were tweeting at me. There were a couple people who were live tweeting it. And the Bernie Parmalee one, there were a couple people who were like, he nailed it, wear that, deal with it. Which I thought was entertaining and shows that you have a great mob behind your shenanigans, which is fun.
Tony, what do I owe and what does Jason owe? Because he, on top of just doing that for us, he said that he would match whatever it is that I end up owing. What is the final total according to Greg Cote?
Final tally is $2,250. Again, that's not including the 11% tip that goes to me off the top. So we're looking at about $2,500.
It's not $2,500. It's $2,250. Correct?
You're missing 11% tip.
Well, there's the Boog one. Yeah, Boog did one, and he did it. He did it poorly. And I think that. Wait a minute, you guys did this again to me. Greg Cote deducted that to $400, not $500 on Boog. These numbers are inflated. You guys are doing bad things with the accounting on this, and
I'm on the up and up here.
You're making me look like I'm against charity because you're just simply not doing the math correctly.
Hee-haw 3 or whatever.
See, that was not the right enthusiasm.
You are the one
for that
trying
call.
to take $100 off the charity right now.
But wait a minute. I'm honoring the hee-haw 3 and the bidet up is what I'm doing, which
Thank
is
you.
more important than the charity.
Yeah. Well,
to be clear. We got this guy afraid of the one-armed army coming after him, and I'm right here to tell you that this is not my fault. Funny to call it an army when it only has one arm. Sorry, Jason.
That's what I was going to quibble with, was that there was a little bit of meta going on in there. But the other thing I would say is I worked with a TV producer in sports once who hated more than anything when for a party of 6 or more, gratuity would be included and the waiter wouldn't say it was included. So there's this inflation that people feel like is wrong when they're not told about it. So I think the only thing that happened is you weren't told in advance that there was going to be gratuity for a party of 6 or more.
I made sure I said it beforehand. 11% right off the top goes to me.
Put
I
it
said
on the
that.
poll at Le Batard Show. Should the waiter or waitress tell you that the gratuity is included? Yes or no?
I love when the gratuity is included. I feel less pressure. Number one, I don't have to do math at the end when I get the check. And number two, I feel less pressure. It's like, oh, all right, this is what you think you get? Maybe I was going to give you more. Oh, well, now you can't judge me. I like when it's included on the bill.
I don't mind. As long as they tell you. Don't make me notice the fine print. You have to mention it as well.
So have we concluded this particular adventure to everyone's satisfaction? Greg Cote, you had some quibbles before Benetti came on here. We gave him an earned standing ovation. I think he went above and beyond, but we can quibble with the fact that a couple of them he didn't get the notes right or the tone right.
Look, it's not going to be perfect because it's said in my voice and my cadence, but I think he did fabulous. He kicked Boog Shambi's ass. If we're being honest, I mean that's who's boss right here. I mean, raising almost $3,000 for this wonderful charity. I'm thrilled that my podcast's catchphrases were adopted by the Le Batard Show and then turned into this wonderful, ingenious fundraising gimmick. I think it's great. I'm genuinely honored.
We are in general. Thank you, Benetti. We appreciate the time. We appreciate the effort. Any last thoughts here before you get out of here?
Just a quick message from Boog, and I was very busy yesterday. I was trying to put together a whole day, and I don't appreciate that you're telling me that I didn't do the job yesterday,
But you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't do your job yesterday. You told us you were going to do something and you didn't do it.
My shock of red hair got in the way of my brain.
You're the best, buddy. You have passed Boog Shambi on being more charitable, and I'm going to just say it to everybody, a better baseball broadcaster and a better human being.
Yeah.
Yes, better. Also a better human being.
But no.
Thank you.
Better at being a human.
This is so refreshing that we have such a great relationship with the top of the broadcasting game.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to burn this bridge with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, I think.
If you guys had seen me yesterday, you guys would have laughed at me yesterday around the corner here because you guys made me think about this, both with the combination of charity and what we were talking about with tipping and tipping being included. I'm with Zaslow, and I'm similar to Zaslow in that if you put in the check what you think it should be, you're absolutely going to get less than you were going to get because I wanted to make that choice. And if you're satisfied with forcing me to tip a certain amount, that's what you're going to get. You won't get less than that, but you're not going to get more than that either. What you guys would have found funny, though, yesterday is my charitable streak collided with the fact that I am just totally indignant still about the fact that in America, people will not take my cash. So What you had on the corner of a street, two guys in blue shirts who are part of the Miami-Dade Community College over here, I don't want to hear what their charitable effort is. I just want to give them a $20 bill. I don't want to stand and hear everything you're raising money for, and I give them cash, and they tell me they're not allowed to take cash, that there are cameras everywhere, and they can't take cash. And I'm like, I don't have time. I just have to give you cash. I don't have time to listen to you. And so what you had in the street is me trying to be charitable and them refusing the charity. They never took it. They would not take it. And so you had physically in the street somebody driving by noticing it looked like I was getting the opposite of robbed. Somebody drove by, recognized me, and sees me trying to give these guys money that they are moving away from, because it's not just verbally. They don't want to be seen on camera taking money. You explain to me what sense it makes that your charity is so restrictive about worrying that your employees are going to steal stuff that you decline $10 that would have helped your charity.
Doesn't make it right.
The Stanley Cup Final is here, and you can watch it with us, The Hockey Show. DraftKings presents The Hockey Show watch-along of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina.
Suavecito para abajo. We're watching Game 2, 8 p.m. Thursday.
And we are also watching Game 3, Saturday, 8 p.m. So join us as we watch the Stanley Cup Final together. It's The Hockey Show watch-along, presented by DraftKings.
All right, let's see what we've got here. Number 10, Mike. Any OLI, or are you going straight to number 10?
I'm going to number 10. Straight to number 10.
It'd be funny if our lists are completely different. If we both have top 10 lists and our lists are completely different.
Yeah, number 10 was the rare occasion where it was kept completely away from me because it was a negotiated deal point. They went right to Dan to complain about Ron McGill, and he had to fight that fight. So number 10 is Ron McGill.
Didn't make my top 10.
And they didn't approve of. They didn't think it was
kept
sports.
fighting it. They fought it like 7 different times. They tried to get him off of our show.
And then he went on with SVP a bunch.
Yeah.
Right. Then
then
Sports Center started doing mascot fights with him. Yeah.
Number 9. This one might surprise some listeners. The looks like game. It gave us a lot of problems, particularly with the talent office over there, because the ESPN talent did not enjoy being part of the looks like game. Famously, Matthew Berry, although we fixed that one, and Buster Olney never fixed that.
Never fixed it with Chris Berman either, who objected to what we said, which was he looks like a Ben Franklin wax figurine that is melting in a car that's too hot.
Number 8, this was one that was kind of kept away from Dan, and it wasn't like one singular moment. I had to go to Bristol and talk to the NFL people over there because the NFL talent office really disliked our show, but it was a lack of education. You didn't really have anybody fighting for us on behalf of the radio division. The NFL is the straw that stirs the drink over there, and people just bowed to them, and I was able to smooth that one over, but it was hostile. Mark Brunell just made stuff up. Made stuff up. Yeah, I was like, did anybody care to ask if this were true or where we stood on it? He just made stuff up.
None of the things
What'd he
so
say?
far, hold on a second, none of the things so far are on my list, but what I remember about that story is we were calling him Baghdad Brewski because he was just doing propaganda for the Patriots, and when we got up there to ask them why they were objecting to that, they didn't understand the reference.
They didn't get the Baghdad Bob part. So a lot of departments just needed to talk and get some background information. But the thing is, the people that you would count on to explain and provide the context, they weren't listening to us either. Number 7.
Wait, what did Mark Brunell say?
Mark Brunell took exception to the questioning on our show and claimed that I didn't clear it with him ahead of time when I absolutely did. And when I found out about this and went to bat for myself, he later capitulated and said that was right. And I had this whole big thing that probably ended up contributing to our NFL talent office issue because they just had a lot of people say that they didn't like our show.
I mean, the issue that we had is that we were asking him questions about money he had lost because it was reported.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
The 2026 NBA playoffs are the most watched playoffs in the last 28 years, according to NBA PR. I don't know what's accurate there. I'm going to assume that with streaming and social media, they can funk up all of the numbers there. But Nick Wright is very excited about the basketball. So who's going to win this series, Nick?
The Knicks. It's been 9 days since we saw them play, which I think has, quieted a bit of everyone's excitement about them. But the last time we saw them play, they had just finished what was, by any statistical metric, the most dominant month of basketball in the history of the NBA playoffs. All they do is blow people out. Mitchell Robinson's right pinky notwithstanding, they are incredibly healthy, they're incredibly rested, and they are one of the few teams that actually gave San Antonio real trouble this year. You add to that San Antonio made it pretty clear, they won their championship and celebrated as such a few days ago. I think the Knicks win tonight and steal home court, and I think that the 2-month playoff slog for the Spurs of a 5-game series, then a 6-game series, then a 7-game series, and all these additional minutes, which are already showing up greatly in Wemby's rebounding numbers, if nowhere else. He is wearing down, and I think you saw that at the end of the conference finals, and I think the Knicks are going to be the champions, which is interesting because we seamlessly transitioned as a collective in the media from the Thunder are going to be a dynasty to something I've never seen before, which is fretting about the Spurs dynasty. Typically, we at least wait till they win their first championship before we are preemptively anointing teams as dynasties. This one, we didn't seem to even wait for that.
Nick, that's not fair, though, is it? That they already won their championship? Like, the Spurs are allowed to be thrilled with a grueling 7-game series win on the road at the champs, right?
No, they're allowed to do whatever they want, but in my analysis of it, I think that was a cathartic, emotional moment, and you saw them react as such, and I think that has a knock-on effect to the finals. The Knicks, maybe because it was a sweep, maybe because the Cavs flat quit, maybe because they weren't playing it on the road against the defending champs, they were very, very businesslike in the reaction to them winning their conference. And I think that actually has a potential impact. The comp I would use, I guess, and this is a theoretical one, but if I were a Buffalo Bills fan, I imagine if there is a day, and there likely will be at one point, where the Bills finally beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, that the emotional toll of that would be bad for them in their next game. In that hypothetical, they at least would have a week or two before the next game. The Spurs had 90 hours, and so we'll see tonight. Now, the last time the Knicks had a massive period of rest, they came out in the first 3.5 quarters of the next game and played terribly. They ended up, that was game 1 against the Cavs, they ended up furiously coming back down 22 in the final 8 minutes. If they won't be able to do that against the Spurs if they come out the way they did in game 1 of the conference finals, but I don't think they will.
So, Nick, how do you explain San Antonio being not a huge betting favorite, but a fairly clear betting favorite?
Yeah, listen, I think that the bettors in Vegas, and it is a pretty significant favorite, not overwhelming, but massive. Not overwhelming or massive, but significant. I think that the Knicks are just wildly underrated, and that Vegas all year long has looked at the Western Conference Finals as the championship. And to be clear, or to be fair, going into the playoffs, I thought the only team that would have a shot against anyone coming out of the West would have been the Celtics, and they lost in round 1. But it denies the reality of what the Knicks have been doing. It denies, in my opinion, the reality of the utter domination of what we've seen for now almost 2 months of basketball from the Knicks. The Knicks are 2 C.J. McCollum not buzzer beaters, but last seconds-ish shots away from being undefeated this postseason. They win a month by where 10 of the 11 games they won by double digits. 3 consecutive series. They imposed their will on their opponent to such a degree that their opponent gave up in the elimination game. They beat the Cavs by 37 in their elimination game, and it lowered their average margin of victory in elimination games this postseason. It was 51 and then 40 and then 37. And so I just think right now, starter for starter, I think the Knicks have the better starting lineup. I think the Spurs have the more reliable bench, but I also think it's a lot of youth there. So I have put my money where my mouth is on this one, and we'll see how it works out. But I bet the Knicks to win the title a week and a half ago. Right now, I think they're plus 170, 160. I have them at plus 250 because I just liked how they looked against either the banged-up Thunder or a Spurs team that I was at MSG in March when they gave Wemby absolute fits. There was about a 6-week period of the regular season where the Spurs with Wemby only lost 1 time, and it was to the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden when the Knicks basically dominated that game.
Jeremy, can you go out to the whiteboard, please, and assemble for Nick and for us a list of which team here is more likable, more unlikable? I'd like some details on this as we head into a fairly anticipated NBA Finals. Can we play the sound of Tim Legler talking about Chet Holmgren? Because one of the things that Amin and others were saying is, well, the Spurs don't have any playoff experience. You know who did? Chet Holmgren. He's a champion. And what did he do with that playoff experience? He was more scared than I can recall an NBA player ever looking. And here's Tim Legler talking about that.
Because there is no denying he was shook. He was rattled. It affected the way he was processing the game. And it completely took away his aggressiveness. He started to look like a guy that was afraid of failure. And when you start to play that way as a professional athlete, that's exactly what it's going to look like. You don't take chances anymore. You'd rather play it safe and disappear than to try and have it not work out. Drive at Wemby and have him block your shot. try to get there in time to stop Wemby at the rim and he get dunked on again. It's better not to try than to have that happen again. That's exactly what he looked like.
Nick, when was the last time that you can recall seeing a player that America knew was scared while they were playing an NBA basketball game?
Man, that's a great question. There have been moments where obviously Harden has looked, like he was just not there and that the moment was too big. I don't remember a player an all-NBA player, an all-star, a guy on a max contract from the beginning of the series just being so psychologically beaten by his counterparty who, I think in Chet's mind, hates him for no reason. This was not a war that Chet opted into. And if you're the Thunder, this is a terrifying turn of events because if you bring Chet back, there is nothing that can give you confidence that this wouldn't happen again, short of, I guess, him dominating Wemby in a couple regular season matchups, because this was not a player who, if you bring Chet back and he comes back next year and actually has a couple pounds of muscle on him, and his defense, which is great, is even better, and his shooting, which is very good, is even better, it will all feel meaningless against 28 other teams, because he was excellent against 28 other teams all year. And I do worry, the comp that I go to, and this is, for, I guess, the older people my age or older in the audience, the comp I go to is this series, could it be for Chet versus Wemby, Nick Anderson at the free throw line? Nick Anderson missed 4 free throws in a row to win Game 1 of the 95 finals for the Orlando Magic, and the rest of his career was a bad free throw shooter. It was purely, unequivocally mental. He never got over that moment. And if I were a team in the East, Chet Holmgren is potentially hyper valuable to me, because it's like, well, even if Wemby just owns him, we'd have to get to the finals in the same year they get to the finals, roll the dice with that. But any team in the West, I think Chet's value has plummeted, because you do worry that, people said all week, he didn't take any shots in the second half of Game 7. That's accurate, but misleading. Chet took 2 of the first 3 shots of the game. He made their first basket. He took 0 shots in the final 45 minutes of that game. I've never seen anything like it.
Tim McMahon says the idea it's time to pull the plug on Chet Holmgren in OKC. I can promise you this, Sam Presti will not be taking that advice. You don't believe Chet Holmgren will be with OKC? You believe OKC? No. What do you believe about OKC?
I think that our bowing at the altar of regular season metrics has made us dumber than we should be. And that applies to how we evaluate their superstar player, who is a superstar and was awesome in Game 7. And all these folks being like, oh, you guys complained about him all series, but you want to give him credit for Game 7. Well, yeah, because all series he was missing shots and falling on the ground. And in Game 7, he made shots and stayed upright. There would have been no complaints about Shea had he played the way he played in Game 7 throughout the rest of the series. But that's not even my point. I think that Oklahoma City is an absolute, the way they are built is perfect to be a regular season juggernaut. Absolute juggernaut. And I think there's data to back this up. And to be a good but not great postseason team. Why would that be? Well, what are their biggest strengths? They have 12 capable NBA players, all of whom are either dogged defenders, great defenders or at least very capable defenders. Okay, in the regular season, that is a massive asset. You are sometimes playing 12 guys. Your bench unit plays big minutes and will dominate the other team's bench unit. And if you are a defense team, you are more likely over the long course of a regular season have teams just be like, you know what? This is a pain in the ass. We got another game in a couple days. We'll get them.
It's a weird thing to say, though, Nick, given that they're the actual defending champions. The last time
it's not that weird at all.
But
it's not that weird at all.
But
they won.
Nick, they're not just a defending champion. They didn't have their second and third best player and lost in a Game 7 at home to the best.
What do you mean they didn't have their second and third best player?
Ball
handlers. What are you talking about?
Sorry, ball handlers.
No, okay, well, that's the other thing. Oh, I thought you were saying Chet wasn't there.
No,
sorry, I wasn't trying to butt you.
Uh-huh.
I thought Chet kind of wasn't there. So, okay, let me give the evidence for it, and then I'll respond to that rebuttal. By the way, they didn't have Jalen Williams all year, and it didn't matter. And A.J. Mitchell makes the same amount of money as Bronny. The idea that A.J. Mitchell is now all of a sudden, he's a good player, but that, how are you going to win without A.J. Mitchell? They didn't. He was their third. Let me make my actual point with the evidence of it. 2 years ago, pardon me, this team was the number 1 seed, a regular season juggernaut, and in round 2 got clocked by a made-on-the-fly at the trade deadline Dallas Mavericks team that, aside from Kyrie Irving, also had very little playoff experience and no championship experience and had a rookie starting center. 2 years ago, they played well below their seed. Last year, they were a, 68 win? Absolute juggernaut. And they went to Game 7 in round 2 and Game 7 down at halftime in the NBA Finals. This year, they were a 64 win, 65 win regular season juggernaut, and they lost in the conference finals. And if we want to play but they didn't have J-Dub game, that's fine. Give them this championship and take away last year's when in Game 7 against the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon's walking around on one hamstring and Tyrese Halliburton's out for the game. So I think if we want to say injuries cost them this year, then you got to play the game of did injuries give it to them last year. They are an excellent team, but they are the historical comps that we were getting were Jordan's Bulls. Just like the regular season historical comps we were getting for Shea was Michael Jordan. And the reason I know that's wrong is because every single person who was presenting those comps would do it apologetically. They would be like, listen, I'm not saying Shea is Michael Jordan, but here's the numbers. I'm not saying this Thunder team is the greatest team of all time, but here's the numbers. And my point is, they, just like some teams, we see it all the time in reverse, and nobody has a hard time accepting it. That the Shaq Kobe Lakers near the end, or the 2018 Warriors, the second year with Durant, or the 2017 Cleveland Cavaliers, that the teams that are in third gear in the regular season and have an extra playoff gear, everyone accepts that that's a thing in the NBA. What I'm saying is, I think the Thunder might be a bit of the inverse of that. That their regular season makes them appear to be a historically great team, and in the playoffs, they are a very, very good team. They were being comped to the greatest teams ever, and Shea was being comped to the greatest players ever. And what I'm saying is, they have a hell of a lot more in common with the champion 2021 Milwaukee Bucks or the champion 2023 Denver Nuggets, teams that have one all-time great top 25 player, but not inner circle Hall of Famer, like all-time legend, I should say, not top 10, not top 8 all-time guy. No other superstars on the roster, but a nice supporting cast that won a championship. And that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's a
good
argument. It is a good argument you're formulating, but they're like one ball handler away from being the defending champs, like twice, the back-to-back champions. They in a Game 7. I know that's not what happened in Game 7, but
Dan, this is where you and I will just disagree on some of this stuff. You're focused on the fact that Game 7 was somewhat close late. You know the other thing an all-time great team might do? Not get the shit kicked out of them in Game 6.
Oh,
like,
no,
hey,
but
that was an
but there have been no close games in these playoffs. All the games are like this. Like whoever wins is going to win by a lot.
Because there are no all-time great teams. No, you are correct, Dan.
They ran into Wemby. Nick, they ran into a guy that we all know plays basketball differently than anyone we've ever seen.
Wemby was not special in Game 7.
He was in Game 1. He was in Game 1.
Yes.
The only close game in the series, he was in Game 1.
He was unbelievable. And an all-time great team would overcome that. They are a really good team. But I don't think I don't think all of a sudden the Thunder, it's like, all right, this is a blip. And now, no, because we are in the second apron world. We are in Clay Bennett has a history of not wanting to pay a super high tax bill. Hartenstein's got a team option. Dort's got a team option. I think Chet, I personally, if I were them, would rattle the cage on if Chet is the centerpiece of a Giannis trade. What does that do? How many years in a row are we going to say the team that just won is just going to keep winning, and then they don't even make it back to the finals before we recognize whether you want to say it's what LeBron did for a decade or what Steph and the Warriors did for half a decade? The reason those things happened was because LeBron at that point, Steph at that point, and the teams around him are simply drastically better than any of these teams we're seeing right now. Now, Wemby might enter that pantheon. But what is so mystifying to me is not only are no one learning seemingly from the mistakes of, who's going to stop the Nuggets, who's going to stop the Bucks. Obviously, the Celtics are just going to keep winning. They've hacked basketball. I don't know how many times I heard on this show and others, the math. The Celtics and math. It grab out your TI-82s. It can't be beaten. And then it's like, no, actually, the flip side of the math is they blow more 20-point leads than any team in playoff history. But it's neither here nor there. And now, we're not even waiting to do it with the Spurs. They have won nothing. And we're like, well, I mean, maybe try to compete in 2032 because it's just over now. And I don't even think they're going to win this championship. So it is critical for the Spurs. Oddly, they do win this championship because, again, folks that care at all about what's happened in the history of this league saw Akeem Olajuwon in his second year with the Rockets shock the Los Angeles Lakers in the conference finals and make the NBA finals. Of course, they're going to be there every year. Doesn't make it back for 8 years, and in the middle has a trade demand. 22-year-old LeBron James shocked the Detroit Pistons in the conference finals, makes the finals. Well, of course, they're going to be there for the next decade. He didn't make it back to the finals with Cleveland until he left Cleveland. We have seen guys make, like, Giannis what was Giannis, 24? Was Giannis 25 when they won? Well, of course they're going to be back. They haven't been close. Joker, well, of course they're going to be back. They have not been close. Every single time you can win a championship might be the last time that group of guys can win a championship. I get it. It's all going to be different this time. This time it's different. This time with the Spurs, it's different.
The distinction I'm simply making with you, and I'll get off this in a second, is that you're saying that Denver and Milwaukee never got close again, and I'm saying OKC just got close again. They just ran
Not
into...
to winning the championship.
Yeah, Nick.
No, they didn't.
Nick.
They didn't.
Nick.
They're going to finish... what... Denver and Milwaukee both got to Game 7s of round 2, and you're saying that's not close. But Game 7
You're
of
saying
round
it's
3
not
is
close.
right there.
You're saying
No,
it's not close.
No, I thought you were agreeing with me on that. True. Yeah. You know what I think is, listen, I'm a Neanderthal. I'm a weird guy, I guess. I don't think any team that didn't play for the championship was close to winning the championship. I think in order to be close to winning the championship, you have to play for it. I guess I'm an idiot. I'm just a dumb guy.
Okay, no, just
how
games.
close how close was LaMelo this year?
Okay.
A play-in game
yeah,
away.
It's totally the same thing.
A play-in game
Yeah,
away,
no,
and the
you're
Pistons
absolutely right.
were kind of
You got me.
fraudulent.
I put my sword down.
And then
It's
you
the
have
same thing. No, you're right. You're right. LaMelo and Wemby, same thing.
How far we
Same
want to
thing.
take it?
Yeah, no.
How far do we want to take it?
It's Game 7 of they were about to play for the championship in the fourth quarter, and Hartenstein and it got decided by Hartenstein and Cornette at the rim.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It was a 6-point game.
Let's go out to the whiteboard now. We got to get Nick out of here. He's the host of FS1's First Things First. What's Right with Nick Wright is the name of the podcast. Game 1 of the NBA Finals starts tonight. Jeremy, go ahead and include Nick on your conversation. Who is more likable, the Knicks or the Spurs?
We're trying to figure that out right now, and I will be taking suggestions from everyone here. What I have so far are just the basics. What makes the Knicks likable? You got Jalen Brunson. You got no finals.
Can you
since
write smaller,
1999.
please? Can you write even smaller,
Great
please?
for TV. You did great there. Good job, Jeremy. We can all. Why'd you even write it, bro? You could have just said it if it's not going to be legible. So this is a disaster. So can I just answer this? The Knicks are the more likable team by far. There's nothing not to like about the Knicks right now.
What do you agree
And
with on that
meanwhile-
list there, Nick?
What? I mean, so hold on. Let me get closer. Let me see.
Fly to Miami so you can see it.
I mean, I don't know. The Knicks' best player didn't cold cock an opponent and then skip out on media after the worst game.
Is that
of
on
his
the list,
career.
Jeremy?
He says one too much since '99. I mean, this is what are we doing,
I
bro?
can't read anything. We'll come back to Jeremy in a second.
He was setting that up for 30 minutes.
We'll come back to Jeremy in a second. See
if we can find a magnifying glass.
See if he
See, that would work. Hey, Jeremy, guess what? We know what you're writing now. You know why? Because it's not in size 10 Arial font. Give me a break.
Let's play for Nick Wright, Amin's assessment of we came so gloriously close to Nick Wright at the Sports ESPYs having to hand Pablo Torre some sort of Emmy. And it didn't happen. And there have been some accusations that you went rogue and didn't read what was on the card and just took Pablo's name off.
Go find that out. Yeah, go find
But
that out.
let's hear from Amin though on what he thought. And this is going to be insulting to Nick because his wife is his stylist and she's very good at it. But here is.
Oh, I fucking dare him.
Unfortunately, he's been dared, and here he goes.
Top 5 things Nick Wright looks like. You'll love this, Zaz.
Willy Wonka.
He looks like he's in Hamilton.
OLI. He looks like Willy Wonka, the harder years.
This is an amazing picture of Nick Wright. How have I not seen this?
Number 5, because you don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram or anything else. Number 5, he looks like one of those AI reimaginings of a live action Grimace. That's Grimace from McDonald's, if you don't know.
As opposed to Grimace the attorney.
Yeah. Number 4, he looks like he's got an interview with the vampire in Detroit. Number 3, he looks like a failed magician hired for a company retreat in Reno. Number 2, he looks like the same failed magician in Reno has another gig across town as a Prince impersonator. And the number 1 thing Nick Wright looked like on the Sports Emmys night in his outfit is he looks like he's threatening to blow up Gotham if the Batman does not reveal his true identity.
I mean, I'm sorry. I did not know you were there, so I will ask these questions honestly. Were you with Pablo? Did Meadowlark Media come inches from Nick Wright having to hand Pablo a Sports Emmy?
Dan, you know me. I have a podcast called Basketball Illuminati where we keep our third eye open. There is a very strong conspiracy theory that we had a La La Land Moonlight situation where Nick Wright just read somebody else's name out of spite so that we wouldn't win.
Wow. That can't be a real conspiracy.
Why not?
That would be great work from the Joker. Not a single smile or even a smirk. There wasn't a muscle that moved on Nick Wright's face during any of that.
No, I don't. I'm not. This would be listening to Amin and you give fashion tips to me. It would be like you listening to someone, someone who's 50 years sober tell you what's the best tequila. Not interested in either of your guys' opinions on it. And I'm surprised Amin. I'm glad you guys showed Amin the picture because I did see him in person, but the eyes were so glassy in cocktail hour, I didn't know if he knew what color I was wearing. I will say this. I was prepared, and I assumed I would be handing Pablo or what's Skullduggery, Matt Sullivan, the guy who does all the work. I thought I'd probably give him the actual Emmy, but regardless, I don't know that because I saw the group photo after. That's a small theater. Fox, First Things First, which was nominated, we had 5 tickets total. Meadowlark brought 30 folks to watch. I guess they did see history of the first time ever a show has been double nominated in the same category. And yet, shockingly, the Prestige Journalism actually won. Like, who could have seen that one? You mean E60? Wait till next year. Wait till the Emmys get a hold of the O's episode. Oh, man. Could be triple nominated. Good to see you guys. That suit, by the way, I got married in, so you all can go to hell.
See you later, Nick. Nice to see you, as always, sir.
Sid Rosenberg liked the suit.
Yeah, I was gonna. I have Sid.
So did Crown Royal.
I have Sid Rosenberg up in queue so that you guys can see. I was gonna play it for Nick, but he wanted his dismount and he wanted to get out of here the way that he wanted to get out of here. But I was left reeling by the realization that this is the color that Sid Rosenberg was going for. I do believe that Mike Ryan has this correct when he says that that Sid Rosenberg is trying to get to maximum tan, and that's the reason that he is the color that he is here. Can you guys put that on the screen for me so that we can see the shade of purple that Sid Rosenberg is?
That is ridiculous.
Well, but Chris, we put up an assortment of pictures next to Sid Rosenberg yesterday of Hellboy, of Grimace. None of them were as purple as Sid Rosenberg. People who were wearing costumes, people who were wearing makeup and were painting their skin, people who are famously purple and characters that are famously purple, none of them as purple as Sid Rosenberg. That can't be natural, correct? That has to be somewhere that he was incubating and he fell asleep in a hermetically sealed tube that has just a bunch of ultraviolet rays that are meant to make him the color violet, correct? Like that's...
If I was that shade, I would not leave the house, let alone go on TV. Seriously, he looks so unhealthy and so ridiculous. I still can't believe it's real.
Now we're too close. Yeah.
One of the things that was funny about Nick Wright not taking style advice from me and Amin, how about Sid Rosenberg taking health advice from somebody who came to the microphone after coughing for the last 10 seconds before it is that we went to him?
At least I'm not purple.
Well, you were while you were coughing, though. You were having trouble breathing. You don't know what color you turn when you start laughing and coughing.
Yeah,
and
I know.
And this is, honest to God, I don't know that we have a lot around here or on the Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote that is funnier than some form of Greg Cote starts laughing, and I see in his son's eyes, sometimes he just speaks it, here come the coughs. Like, you
can tell it's coming.
There's a cadence to it. When he starts laughing, particularly at something that he's done, it's not usually something we've done. It's something that is a reference to him. He will start laughing so much that he coughs. Don't get so far away from the microphone. You're further than you've ever been.
I'm back on roids, so my coughing should be taken care of in the next week or so. Fabulous. What can I tell you?
Is Jeremy okay?
He said he fixed it.
Yeah, I think he's ready for another update.
Staging himself.
All right, because Jeremy took a beating in that last segment. The writing was way too small. I don't know why he decided to write it that small. None of us could see anything that was
left
on
so
the
much
board.
board.
He was there for a half hour.
Hey, that's not a nice thing to say about him.
I fixed it.
Come on.
Oh, for the love of God. Now it's even smaller. All right, Jeremy, go ahead and take us through what it is that that people are feeling about the Spurs.
So as is obvious as you can see clearly right here, what makes the Knicks likable is Jalen Brunson and the fact that they haven't won since 1999. Now, on the unlikable category, it's Knicks fans themselves, the fact that they're the Knicks, and that Dan likes them too much. So, as is made really clear, right?
Because
I don't know
they're
how you
likable.
can't see this.
Because they're likable.
No, you like them too much because you're a Knicks fan. Then the Spurs, we can make it abundantly clear right here. As you can see right here in parentheses, I think Wemby is likable, right? But over here, Tony thinks Wemby is unlikable. And then they beat Oklahoma City, and they've won too much since 1999. So, guys, I'm willing to take other options. It's why I left a little bit of room on the board so that we could add a few more here. I was a little bit concerned that this would be a bit too big. But as they say, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean.
Do they say that?
You've left so much board.
So many board.
I'm good at this. I've won Emmys. I'm just saying.
Yeah, thank you for that. I believe
They're the color of this jacket.
that it is rare.
Now, let me just interrupt you real quick. You guys all are claiming, your Pulitzer or whatever. Win an award yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'll see you guys later.
Wow.
He's won Emmys.
Shots fired.
The question of which team is more likable, I don't have a lot of what I'm about to say to you in terms of seeing what we're going to see tonight, which is the team that is obviously more likable to me, obvious, without a question, is not the team that America's rooting for. I believe San Antonio, because of the star, because of our love of the star, because he's a novelty, because he's a freak, because he's kind of representing everything the NBA would want represented, cares deeply, is sort of impeccable with his public postures, represents spectacularly well, whether you're selling basketballs or sneakers or the sport of basketball. I believe that New York is the owner of the most lovable team that franchise has ever had of any kind, and yet they're not as lovable as the other guys in the eyes of America. So they get to have the the combination that all fans want, which is, I really love these guys and their grittiness, and nobody believes in us. Like they've got that, which it makes it already, to me, the most special Knicks team that there's been since the one that won the title in 1973. And I just think America's on the other side of this, where they don't agree with what I just said.
Oh, you think most of the country, not talking from a gambling perspective, you think most of the country is rooting for San Antonio? I think most of the country may be rooting for New York. I think people are getting swept up. It's the big city. It's flashy. You got the celebrities. They haven't won in forever. I think most of the country might be rooting for New York.
How can you not root for the franchise that hasn't won anything in more than half a century? Everybody can relate.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
The Stanley Cup Final is here, and you can watch it with us, The Hockey Show. DraftKings presents The Hockey Show watch-along of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina.
Suavecito para abajo. We're watching Game 2, 8 p.m. Thursday.
And we are also watching Game 3 Saturday, 8 p.m. So join us as we watch the Stanley Cup Final together. It's The Hockey Show watch-along presented by DraftKings.
Let's go out to Jeremy in the other room and find out what it is that he's accusing me of. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Dan, there is a 5-pronged approach
Of course.
against you.
You do nothing efficiently.
1, Dan Le Batard himself has said he's fed up with the Miami Heat organization, trying to distance himself from the fact that he used to be a Miami Heat mouthpiece, now propping up the opinions that are anti-Miami Heat for several years now out of the shipping container and out of his own mouth. Point number 2, he was looking for more New York Knicks correspondence going back several seasons. The first time he evoked the Larry Johnson game while his own co-host that was sitting next to him was a self-proclaimed Knicks fan. No, we needed to have more New York Knicks. Point number 3. As the George Soros of sports journalism, he has funded a now Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. Where's he from? He's from New York, Dan. Pablo Torre, who refuses, by the way, as a guy who went after Kawhi Leonard in aspiration, he refuses to go after Jalen Brunson. Chris, play the clip.
I would like to say to Jalen Brunson, to Rick Brunson, to John Macri, to Joe Budden, to the guy I will encounter on the sidewalk today, I am not looking in to Jalen Brunson.
Point number 4. One of the biggest Knicks fans in the world, Ben Stiller. You know what it says here, Dan? It says, Dan, I know you're Knicks fan. It should have said you're a Knicks fan, but it said, I know you're Knicks fan. Why does he know that, Dan? Because he's a Knicks fan. It takes one to know one, as they say. And number 5, and this is the real smoking gun. What is the first thing that Dan Le Batard thought to do as he delayed his own production crew by 45 minutes to do a show in the studio you're presently sitting in? He went on Sam Morrill's podcast, grinning like a fool, praising the way in which he loves the Knicks, how happy he was for the Knicks to win, the joy that he felt watching this team, and oh, the beloved Garden. Chris, play the clip.
Yeah, I know you're not a Knicks fan, but you gotta at least have enjoyed that a little bit last night.
I was legitimately happy.
Case closed.
Wow.
Wait a minute. I said I was happy for him.
No evidence of that.
Wow.
Wait, that's creatively left. Wait a
That's
minute.
incredible, Jeremy. Great work.
Mule eating briars.
That's Dan's body.
You just heard Sam say, I know you're not a Knicks fan. That seems to go.
He's trying to help you out there. Is what
Seems
he's doing.
sarcastic.
Then you rebutted it with, I'm happy.
Can I hear that again?
I know you're a Knicks fan.
Yeah, I know you're not a Knicks fan, but you gotta at least have enjoyed that a little bit last night.
I was legitimately happy.
You can't, on one end, hold up Sam knowing you're not one and ignore that Ben Stiller knows you're one.
You are Knicks fan.
You are Knicks fan.
You're Knicks fans. Tony, we were making fun of Pablo. We've been making fun of Pablo because he's on a text string with Method Man. I should have never allowed it. And he doesn't refer to him as either Method Man or Meth. He keeps referring to him as Method. really interesting to see how torn everyone seems about who's going to win these two championships. You look at ESPN, they had 24 people pick Carolina Vegas 12-12. Everybody I talked to, yeah, I kind of think the Knicks have a real good shot because if they make 18 threes and a half like they did against Philadelphia, they can beat anybody on the days that they're making all of their threes, obviously. I had a couple of quibbles with some of the stuff that Nick Wright said that I didn't get to. One of the things that he is saying while correctly talking about this stretch of Knicks basketball is 11 games. It's not just postseason. It's the best 11 games of basketball statistically anybody has ever played, regular season, postseason, anytime. And so, of course, that's something that anyone is going to notice. But they are doing it against what I could argue are three worse teams than any of the ones that San Antonio just played. I could put Portland in that conversation with the Atlantas and the Clevelands and the broken Philadelphia 76ers. But I can certainly put Minnesota and OKC as a level of opponent that is realms beyond anybody that the Knicks have beaten.
Everything Nick was saying about the Knicks is correct, all right? But I look at which is more impressive? The Knicks winning 11 in a row and murdering teams, buster teams, or what San Antonio just did where they manhandled Minnesota after game 1 and they beat the Thunder in 7. So while they didn't put up the type of numbers the Knicks did, isn't what Oklahoma City did more impressive?
Well, this is a weird thing that I'm about to say, Zaz, which is I believe the Knicks' toughest opponent was the first one they faced. I believe the way Atlanta was playing after the trades in the second half of the season, the way their wings are that athletic, that they're young, and you saw how that series went. Like, it was closer than the other games because Atlanta had a lot of things, youth, athleticism, that, Cleveland felt like it just didn't have when James Harden was the centerpiece of too much of what they were doing.
I think they broke the soul of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Cavs are the best team that they've played so far. But after that 20-point up and down, and all of a sudden the game is over, and you're looking up the score, like, how did the Knicks win? They took their soul. It was over.
Let me ask you something. Who do you think, and it doesn't have to be a team that New York played, who do you think was the second best team in the Eastern Conference playoffs?
I mean,
team that played the best in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Played the best?
Second best.
The reason the question's hard to answer is because if you give me healthy Embiid who hasn't played for several months, that's a very difficult team to play. But if it's all of a sudden Embiid's got to play 5 games in 10 days and he's all broken by the end of the playoffs because his body can't withstand any of it, it makes it very hard to answer that question, especially with the way that Boston played.
Because my answer would be Orlando. They were up 3-1 on Detroit. They were playing great. Those games that Orlando played and was up 3-1, that was the second best performance in the Eastern Conference. And that's who we're comparing the Knicks to against San Antonio. And you see who they had to go through in the Western Conference. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I do wonder. I really do, though. The worst game the Knicks played against the Cavs was the first one. They got a bunch of rest. Jokic has said, don't give me a lot of rest. I want to roll through this. And so what you have happening tonight is I think Nick's analysis on game 1 is that San Antonio is going to fold up because they're tired and that was a really hard series. But I think New York not playing in this long, when you are a team that relies that heavily on the threes, the shooting goes. And if they get obviously behind by 22 points against the Spurs in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes left, it's not going to go the same way that it went against the Cavs.
You got to miss me with the tired stuff. They played Saturday. They got home Saturday night. Today's Wednesday. They're a young team. We're tired. Come on. Miss me with the tired.
I mean, Nick brought it up, but you look at Wemby's numbers rebounding the ball, and the first couple of games he had 24, then 17, and then he only had a double-digit rebound once after that. So, you wear Wemby down, he's not going to go for boards as much as he usually does. He's going to float out into the perimeter. But if you look at what the Knicks were able to do so they sweep the Sixers, they come in, and then they're down 20 early, but then all of a sudden completely come back and then take over the series. They're already used to playing this style, which is, all right, we've had a week of rest. We've already swept. This is normal.
The thing for the Knicks that gives them an advantage offensively against San Antonio is the fact that Cat plays on the perimeter. But some of what Oklahoma City did to wear down San Antonio that you're talking about is being super physical with him, with Isaiah Hartenstein and other guys in the paint. that's going to be up to Mitchell Robinson. Like,
Questionable
those
tonight, by
minutes
the way.
matter.
Questionable.
He's playing.
The finger.
All right.
Is it his finger? It's not really his finger, right? It's not.
It's
the,
technically his pinky, but it's his fifth metatarsal down here, which didn't happen in a game or at practice.
Where does the finger end and the hand start, Dan?
Have you guys seen this guy shoot free throws? It doesn't matter if he has hands. He could be that ticketed one-armed woman. That he doesn't need his hands for anything.
One-armed paper hanger.
He's right about that.
That kind of thing.
Morally Abhorrent makes its return. World Cup is a week away, and 4 years ago we had a podcast soccer series that was just, man, all of this is unethical. Enjoy your soccer. And so Morally Abhorrent is going to make its return in the post-game show today. And I don't know, do you know this defender for Wellington Phoenix named Tim Payne? Have you heard what's going on with him?
I have not.
Oh, I thought we might have.
You went to the microphone as his inner monologue and didn't know what you were going to say. He was going to support that you knew, and we all thought you knew, but you have no idea what I'm talking about right now. The most anonymous player in the World Cup has now developed quite the following out of nowhere.
Yeah, how would I know that?
Well, this is a really cool story. There's a really influential soccer personality out of Argentina that set out on a mission. Let us find the most anonymous player in the World Cup, and let's turn this player into an overnight sensation.
I like it.
And so this influencer settled on Tim Payne, who's had a career that has seen him go around a lot of clubs. He actually plays every position on the pitch. Like, he's a very versatile player. He even played for Portland Timbers too. Not the Portland Timbers, their secondary squad. He had about 4,000 followers on Instagram, and seemingly overnight, this is what his follower count is now. 4.7 million. He's become an absolute sensation. There are Spanish songs about him. There are murals. They played last night at Inter Miami's new stadium against Haiti. Haiti looked pretty good, by the way. If you want to head over to the DraftKings Sports app, now live in all 50 states, and put a little quid on Scotland finishing last in that group, it might be worth it. Haiti in the United States, they're a tough out. We learned from CONCACAF. But either way, Tim Payne was a part of this New Zealand squad. He is now a hugely famous dude. Inter Miami used his likeness to say, hey, Tim Payne is playing in Miami tonight. Come out and watch Tim Payne versus Haiti. The All Blacks of New Zealand, their rugby team, is super popular, right?
Yep.
The All Whites of New Zealand, the soccer team, not as popular. Tim Payne has more of a social following than the national rugby team of New Zealand, to put that in perspective. And this was all largely driven in South America. So here is Tim Payne trying through some Spanish to thank his newly found Spanish audience for this fame.
Hola, todos. Muchas gracias por todo el apoyo. Disculpen mi español, sigo practicando el Duolingo. Just want to say a massive thank you first to you, Valen. It's been a pretty crazy 48 hours, to say the least. I just wanted to also express that I'm very grateful to be representing my country at this World Cup, and I appreciate all the love from all around the world. Muchas gracias.
Okay, a valiant effort, but I have to correct this poor man. He meant to say thank you for all the support, but instead he said thank you for all the chicken.
Yeah, I caught that.
No.
Yeah, I caught that.
Apoyo is support. Pollo is chicken, and his Spanish, he's trying, but he just told Argentina, thank you for the chicken.
Yeah, how do you like fame now, Tim Payne? This is what it's like. One mistake, you're done. Dan's going to jump all over you.
So I got a question. So, respect to Tim Payne. So he sucks, right?
Yeah, he's not a good player. I mean,
respectfully,
he's a national team player for New Zealand. Not a great soccer country, but he's a pro.
But he hasn't really had success on the club
like
level.
He thanked the influencer by name. The whole mission was to find the most anonymous dude playing in this World Cup.
So when Inter Miami says, "Hey, come watch Tim Payne at the new stadium," you're coming to watch a guy who's like not that good.
But you're going to watch a celebrity. And
Gotcha, okay.
we're living in a culture that is so driven by celebrity, that celebrities go into politics successfully now. So, yeah, he's become a huge sensation, so much so that sportsbooks out there have Tim Payne-specific props.
Take the under.
Probably.
They know people are suckers.
I'll tell you something. If I had 4,000 followers on Instagram and I woke up the next morning and I had 4.7 million, I don't think I would like that.
Yeah, it's crazy life-changing. It's a sensation. There's got to be a whirlwind. And
There's too many people watching me now.
What happened? Guys, what did people see?
Yeah, I don't think I'd like it.
There's so much money involved. The guy doesn't have to do anything. Play soccer for the rest of his life. He's got 4.7 million followers. Go to brands and be like, hey, this is what I got. What's up? Oh, yeah, we'll pay you $50.
Oh,
grand
no,
for a
but
post.
what Zaz is speaking to, if you went to sleep at night and had 4,000 followers and then woke up in the morning
I'd have
without
a panic attack.
without checking the news, without checking anything, and just saw that it was at 4.7 million, you would think that the internet had gotten a hold of some sort of shame of yours.
Yep.
You'd have some fear about how is it that this escalated. You think you'd wake up and say, you know what, I think the internet is feeling kind and bountiful today. Or because the internet is made for snarky cruel, would you immediately assume, oh my God, is my greatest secret that is the most shameful out in public right now?
You can go the other way. Like, am I dating Kim Kardashian? What happened?
Like, Tony, you'd wake up in the morning, you'd be like, oh, nice, they finally discovered me?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd call an ad agency the second I wake up.
Tony wakes up and goes, about time.
That is what Tony would do. He would wake up and be like,
I'd make like
finally.
4 or 5 calls. One of them would be to Dan.
Funny what happened to me overnight. I suddenly discovered, the world suddenly discovered everything I've known about myself, which is that I deserve the millions of followers.
I don't know about deserve, but gotta want to learn, gotta want to earn.
Exactly. Well put.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the way, is there any shame that would instantly get you 4.7 million? I don't think even that would happen.
Well, what I remember, and there's actually a book written about this. There was a woman who took a flight, I believe it was to either Africa or South Africa, and before she got on the flight, she made some sort of racist AIDS joke, and by the time she landed where she was, her life had been ruined. Like, she lost her job, and it was sort of a tipping point on people recognizing our addiction to the internet makes it, and our addiction to the internet and the intoxicant that is dunking on people, which feels like the internet is for, like, where and how can I be funny about this?
Well, but what I can't understand is normally you lose followers by controversy and shame. Normally, you don't gain followers because of that, right?
Right, a little further away. This is so far a nice story. So
far.
Congrats to Tim Payne. Until
Somebody will find
they go after your greatest shame, and then we will laugh at you and chew you apart.
Greg, infamous also works. Notoriety also works. It's not there. I don't think there are a whole lot of people on the internet that it's just like, hey, you're 100% positive. In fact, who is that person? Give me the person that you believe is the most positively popular on social media, where it's just all applause, and what they're getting from the internet is not an assortment of jokes at their expense about their eyebrows. Jeremy, can you look up for me, please, who would be the most anonymous player in baseball? If we were to try and start some sort of campaign that and tried to get the most anonymous player in baseball the Payne treatment.
I had a feeling that you might bring me here, and I'm very excited about this because I have a perfect pitch. Daniel Lynch IV. Now, he's leading the Royals in ERA and in holds, but he's a left-handed reliever. He's the first player ever to wear IV on the back of his uniform, the first fourth. Okay? But his name is Daniel Lynch IV, and he plays for the last-place Kansas City Royals. He's a reliever, doesn't have any saves. He's just leading the team in holds. How do we feel about Daniel Lynch IV? He has 5,000 followers. Do you need me to find somebody else? Do we like Daniel Lynch IV?
No, keep looking.
Left-handed reliever for the Royals? That's not random enough.
That's pretty good. Yes, it's plenty random.
That's my guy.
But we need the most anonymous.
All right, I'm on it.
He's got too much flavor with the 4 on the back of the jersey. He said it's the first one ever. We can't have that.
No, that's fair. I just need someone who's not going to get sent down.
Yeah, I don't think it can be a guy leading in holds or anything like that. I think it needs to be the last guy on the bench who all season long has played in one game and had 2 pinch hits.
Today's Chris Aguila.
Just a guy who rarely plays, and if he does, he barely gets.
No,
it.
but what Jeremy is saying, he doesn't want to find someone who could get, options at AAA.
Right.
Needs to be someone who is on the team.
I want to get for a second to this Mitchell Robinson stuff because the Knicks are super healthy this basketball season. I mean, you've heard me say before, a broken sport is breaking its players. Like the physical act of playing basketball led to so many injuries this year that it becomes clear that the tissue and the people that are this size, the game is being played in a way that just breaks the bodies. Mitchell Robinson is the Knicks' big health problem. And as Tony mentioned, it's not his pinky, it's the back of the hand. And Windhorst was saying on ESPN, it's known as a boxer's fracture because most of the time it means that you hit something. And in 184 minutes of action this postseason, he's collected 40% of the available offensive rebounds. It's a rate that would lead the league in regular season and playoffs. He's a beast, and I told you, like, he does things to Mobley and Jared Allen that reduces that team to we've got to count on Harden, and he's got a broken hand, essentially. And I'm legitimately asking you guys, what do you think it's going to do to Mitchell Robinson's game? Because I don't think his hands have much of anything to do with how he gets offensive rebounds. I think everything there is physical, and he's using just about everything except his hands. But it seems to me like it would be really tough to play basketball at the highest level with a broken hand, even if offensively all you're being asked to do is Jalen Brunson is going to lob it up at the basket and you have to dunk it.
I just think he's a lock to get someone to take a swipe at his hand. Like that's the way it goes. That's how professional sports work in these spots. Like somebody is going to hit him on the hand. Maybe it was by accident. Maybe it wasn't.
Probably it wasn't. But I'm curious. Is the pinky going to be taped to the second finger? Is it the type of an injury where it would be smarter for him to sit tonight and then play in the
But again,
second game?
it's not the pinky actually, because that catching the ball with a bad pinky, that would hurt, and I can see people being able to do it. But it's sort of the back of his hand near the pinky.
Begs the question, where does the hand start and the finger begin? I screwed that up.
It's been great today.
Would you like another shot at it?
Where does the hand end and the finger start?
Very good.
I thought that we all agreed that the finger starts right above the knuckle. Like, do you have it beneath the knuckle?
Oh yeah, beneath the knuckle.
You have the finger starting beneath the knuckle as opposed to above the knuckle.
Yeah.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Where does the finger start? Above the knuckle or beneath the knuckle? What do you guys answer that question with as we all score?
I think Greg's right. I think it starts below the knuckle because you could feel in your bone, you could feel the finger beneath the knuckle.
But you
in
guys
your
are
hand.
you guys are doing roots of the finger,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying that the hand is everything that's beneath the fingers because you when I'm doing the hand, I'm not doing the back of the hand. I'm doing the front of the hand.
You don't know how hands work.
I'm doing the front of the hand, and the front of the hand doesn't have any knuckles. The knuckles are only.
No, my hand
Then you
starts
got
over
knuckles
here.
there.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are the knuckles in the front also, or are the knuckles only in the back? Because I have the knuckles only in the back. I do not have the knuckles up front.
Of course, this is the knuckle right here.
Yeah, you need to learn about hands.
Yeah, you don't know fingers.
But
Come on.
but the front
the
of the
knuckle
hand,
here,
the front of the hand, the knuckles
Oh,
are
the
in
knuckle.
the knuckles are in the back.
Okay, the joint of the finger
The
is
knuckles
right
are
there.
not in the front.
Yeah, these
Nobody
are the
has the
knuckles.
knuckles in the front.
Guys,
These
the
are the
knuckle is round. It's on both sides.
I got these knuckles right here.
These are the knuckles.
You were going to stay with it until it caught. The knuckles are not in the front. Nobody thinks the knuckles are in the front.
Like Mike said, they're circular. They're everywhere.
Well, can you have a kneecap in the back? I don't think so.
You can't have a kneecap in the back. That's my point, that the kneecap would be in the front and the kneecap would not be in the back. The knuckle would be in the back and not in the front.
What is your front?
What do you mean?
Because you're
what is
pointing
my
at the
front?
back.
I'm not pointing at the back. I'm pointing at the front of my hand, the palm of my hand.
Palm, okay, because front could be this way. What
If I
my
gave you
hand's
the
out like
back,
that?
if I gave you the back of my hand, would I be giving you my palm? No, I'd be giving you the back of my hand.
But I wouldn't say the front of the hand.
What do you mean you wouldn't say the front
I'd say
of
the
my
palm
hand?
of the hand.
This is the front of the hand right here.
No, that's not the
Thank you,
front of the
Greg.
hand.
It is.
That's the back of the
No,
hand.
it's the front of the hand.
There is a chance his free throw shooting gets better.
There's not a chance it can get worse.
This is the front of my hand right here.
Semantics.
That's the palm.
That's the back of my hand.
I was mentioning earlier in the show because the probabilities of this are just infinitesimal. I've said that Jose Canseco has the greatest play in baseball history. It's not merely because he seemed to be miles from the warning track, catching a routine fly ball that at best would have been a ground rule double. And instead what happened was as he approached the warning track, it bounced off of the top of his head and over the wall. Right when he got to the warning track, it bounced off, hit the top of his head and over the wall. And that is statistically improbable by itself. But to have it happen off of the top of the head of the biggest clown in baseball is a statistical improbability. Like if I were to just give you the entirety of the sport, there would have been no one funnier that could have happened to. And so I called it the greatest play in baseball history. Can you guys give me the details? Because I have not seen that this has happened 2 more times in the last 2 weeks, even though we talked about a month ago about a minor leaguer that had it happen, and he wasn't even close to the outfield wall. What are the details on this? And show me these videos, because I have not seen replicated what I believe to be the greatest play in baseball history. Show me first, please, the minor. Is this the minor?
This is
Yes,
college
baseball.
We
Let's
could
see.
go a regional here. We have a little audio that goes with it.
Out to left center field and room in the cavern, I think. Back to the fence, a leap and off the fence. Now, that got out. Was that the Jose Canseco off the body parts and over the fence?
He didn't know what to call it. Was that the Jose Canseco off the body
Well,
thing?
the reason he said off the body part is because these guys are very regimented about getting the details right, and he couldn't tell whether it was the back of his head or off his neck or what the hell it bounced off of because he was so far from where they were sitting. And so he couldn't see. It was like Jeremy's writing on the board. He couldn't see at that distance what was happening, but that Karam was crazy in that bounced off the back of his head and sort of went 40 feet behind him in the opposite ricocheting direction. The last 2 of these they are physics defying. The last 2 of these we've seen.
You already know how I feel about it. We've done this already. I don't think that's a home run.
It is a home run. It goes in the record books as a home run. And we have another one. Is this from Major League Baseball last night? Are you kidding me? This is Adele? This happened to Adele, the guy who robbed that guy. Hello. The guy who had 3 catches this year. He had the best defensive game a player has ever had. He
Robbed
had
3 homers in a single game.
3 homers in a shutout. In a shutout, he robbed 3 home runs, the last of them in the 9th inning.
He fell into the stands, which should have been a home run because the ball was then in the stands.
Well, I guess he didn't have that performance anymore. Yeah. This cancels it out. Yeah. I actually asked a question back here. Does this cost him the Gold Glove?
I think he goes back to just neutral. Those 3 robbed home runs was like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. Jose Canseco thing brings you back. You're not negative. We don't think bad it, but you've lost all positive thought.
Yes.
Let's see the B-roll on this here so that we can see what it is that happened to Adele. This is just straight error. Wow. That's the rare. Hits the glove, hits his forehead.
He's tracking it.
Oh my God,
it goes
that
almost
had to
through
hurt.
his glove, hits the head, and then goes over.
It hit multiple things in the field of play. That's a home run?
That
Why
one I'm
wouldn't
actually.
it be?
This one I'm actually with Zaz here. Hitting the glove for some reason does change it a little bit for me.
That's a ground rule double in my book.
Yeah.
Okay, but in the record books, it's a home run.
A ground rule double bounces over the fence.
Bounces where?
Yes, it
Yeah,
hits.
Bounces off the ground, off
Yeah.
the earth.
Well, this bounced off something else.
That's why it's not a ground rule double. This is a
head.
forehead rule double, if anything. It's
Right.
not a ground rule double.
It's a home run.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. If you rob 3 home runs in a game, but then a home run bounces off your forehead, are you an average total outfielder? Are you average as an outfielder because of the shame involved? I cannot believe the statistical improbabilities of home runs flying out of the park off someone's forehead. I've told you guys I want you to go to Marlins Park and I want you to try to track outfield balls and see how poorly you do it, because I don't think people realize how hard it is to track something that small when you're 350 feet away and it's coming at a great rate of speed. Like, I know those outfielders make it look easy. I don't believe any of us would catch outfield balls well. I know that Chris Cote, I had an opposite field single off Matt Latos in high school.
We'll let these guys try first. I don't want to make you look bad.
Okay, you think it's going to be easy to track fly balls in the cavernous Marlins outfield. You think you're playing center field in that ballpark. You're playing center field. You think it's going to be easy to track something into left center field.
I'm more of a corner outfielder, but I could try center.
I think people underestimate how hard that is to do. That and catching punts, just because Major League Baseball players make it look so easy.
Remember in Houston, you used to have to run up that hill in center field to catch a fly ball?
Minute Maid Park.
You think they'll let me come out,
was
Jeremy?
thinking?
Get me out there for BP, just to catch some
Just
fly
BP.
balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
got
a
it.
shag?
We bring a camera person, we'll get your content. There you go.
Dan, it was a hill you had to run up, and there was a pole in the hill. What is that?
Dangerous.
The Yankees used to have their monuments in play. Did they really? Yeah. There was a time back in when Monument Park,
The Great Depression.
Yeah, they were behind the wall.
No, there was a time when those were in play. I can look it up.
Get the hell out of
Yes.
here.
Really?
Yeah, they moved the fences in.
Well, I don't think there were fences, actually. I think it was just sort of a graveyard. Like, they just had a graveyard in center field that looks like monuments, but what it is a cemetery, where it's just, Babe Ruth is back there somewhere. It's 500 feet from the home plate. No one will hit it out here. And then the whole sport now, now everybody hits it 600 feet.
Caroming off headstones.
Instead of heads.
There you go.
It began in 1932, but not until the mid-'70s when Yankee Stadium had a renovation did they move the center field fence in 44 feet to then make sure that the plaques were not in play. And in 1985, they opened it to the public. Also,
Plaques were not in play.
Hello.
Joel Kunol has 1,619 followers on Instagram. He's a left-handed reliever for the Athletics, a team that doesn't even have a region. How do we feel about him?
I feel like we're overthinking this. Let's just pick a Marlin.
I want to go back for a second to what Zaslow was saying. Is the name of the it had a name. I had a very funny argument one time with Boog Shambi. I think that center field in Houston is named after a former scout, Tal something. I think it's
Tal's Hill.
But is it? That's what it's called. It's called
Tal's Hill.
Tal's Hill. And what Zaslow is saying there that is truly absurd is there's just a pole in the middle of the outfield that seems wildly dangerous if you're climbing up a hill. Like, the warning track has always been interesting to me because of what it is that I'm telling you about how hard it is to track these fly balls. You're tracking a fly ball at full speed, and now what you feel under your feet is gravel. And so now you know, without looking at the wall, I'm running full speed to something that's 10 feet away from me. But now make it a hill, and now make it a pole. Instead of a padded wall, there's a pole in the outfield, and it really is surprising that no one ever hit it in a way that was violent, because how can you run up a hill, Tal's Hill, and have a pole out there that structurally needs to be behind the wall, not in front of the wall?
I just don't understand how there's a hill. Like, why didn't they put a bunker in shallow left field?
Or a pond.
A moat.
Yeah.
The argument that I had with Boog, and he called that scout, is it Tal Smith? Because what he did is he reduced me to rubble in the argument, because at the time it was in the Braves outfield, a very young Michael Tucker and a very young Andrew Jones. And I'm like, defensively, I think Michael Tucker's as good as Andrew Jones. It was very early in their careers, and so he just called a scout. And Tal, who that hill is named after, just began laughing on the phone at my assessment defensively of Michael Tucker and Andrew Jones, because of how much better Andrew Jones was than Michael Tucker. Jim Edmonds had a catch on that hill at one time that isn't even his best catch. Like, Jim Edmonds made the greatest catch I've seen in baseball history, but the one up the hill is something that was also wildly impressive, because he was like 420 some odd feet from home plate.
Chris could do that.
Catch. Willie Mays.
Do you guys always overestimate your ability to do things the professionals do? Because the place that we started with making fun of Greg Cote on tearing his hamstring in a 50-yard field goal is how insulting I find it that as somebody who's been writing about sports for 50 years underestimates the greatness of what it is that he's writing about. I understand that in basketball, we're all expecting all of these guys to make their shots when they fly to the rim, but some of these shots, just because they make it look, some of the things Jalen Brunson does at that size are completely mystifying to me. The way that he can, in the mid-range, just dominate anybody at his size and get to the rim against any human being who exists. And tonight, he faces the most difficult one in the history of the sport to getting to the rim on. Like that, when you talk about was it the Minnesota series that Wemby started the first first 5 games that he had 5 blocks a game? Like he was averaging 5 blocks a game. What do you guys expect Jalen Brunson to look like in this series? Do you believe he's going to be able to drive and dish to open three-point shooters the same way he's done against all these other teams that don't have Wemby in the paint?
I think you're going to see him use that mid-range a lot. Like, he's good at that mid-range shot. He'll drive, he stops at the elbow, he shoots mid-range because nobody goes at the basket when Wembanyama's in the paint.
But the teams they've played against, right, whatever your other analysis is of Knicks Spurs, the teams Brunson has played against, Evan Mobley's a very good defensive player. You can make an argument that he is in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, but he's not that kind of shot blocker. Embiid is not that kind of shot blocker. Atlanta does not have that kind of shot blocker. Nobody does, really. But in terms of affecting Jalen Brunson's game with a shot blocker, they've not seen anything that comes close to this.
In the Minnesota series, I think there was a stat that Wemby had more blocked shots than they had field goal made at a certain point in the series.
That can't be right.
I'm telling you it's right.
It's because he blocked a shot the first play of the game.
Maybe if that's how it happened. Maybe
at a certain point in the series, he had more blocks than they had field goals made.
I want you to think again what you're saying.
Doesn't make it right.
Think about what you're saying.
That stat can't be right, Tone.
Say it again, but think
said
really
at one
hard.
point in the game.
At one point in the game.
At one point in game one, there are many field goals. He didn't have 400 blocks. He had 35 blocks and...
Say it again, but think about the words as you're saying it.
Okay. At one point in the game, he had more blocks than they had made field goals.
Still feel good about that?
We're researching.
It could be accurate if you're
Thank
talking
you, Greg.
about the first 2 minutes of a game.
Yeah, but then it's a meaningless stat.
Thus far,
stat.
only
Still a
thing
stat.
I can find is through 5 games, Wemby had more blocks than the entire Timberwolves roster. Not field goals, but I'm looking.
He's looking.
I believe you're going to be looking for the rest of time. And you're not going to find anything unless you find that the first shot of the game was blocked and then the Spurs had more blocks than the Timberwolves had field goals made.
Do you want to try that stat again, but with different words?
No, I'm going to look it up.
Well, you can do that now. You're not going to find it. You're going to spend the
Let's
rest-
try that on the front end.
Yeah, before you speak. Usually a pretty good idea to see if you can get that right before the words tumble out of your mouth and then everyone's heard them and the next thing you know, you got 4.7 million followers because everyone can see your shape.
More blocks than the team has field goals made.
Could be right.
No, it couldn't be
yes,
right.
It could be right.
There's no circumstance.
In the first 2 minutes of the game, Wemby's got 2 blocks. They haven't made 2 field goals yet.
That doesn't make it a relevant stat.
It makes it a stat, though. It makes Tony accurate. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Greg. I'm
You're
looking,
welcome.
by the way.
That kind of thing. Yeah, and you know it.
It's one of the worst stats I've ever heard.
But it's a stat.
You acknowledged it.
It's a remarkably stupid stat.
They're not all stat of the day. Some of them are bad stats. Nothing wrong with that. BS, bad stats.
That was BS. And then what poured from Tony's
Okay,
mouth.
sorry. I had one piece missing. One detail missing. Okay, are you ready? I had one detail missing.
Doesn't make it right.
Thank you, Jason Benetti. During the 2026 Western Conference semifinals, Victor Wembanyama recorded more blocks than the Minnesota Timberwolves had made field goals when he directly contested their shots over the span of the series.
Oh, my God.
I had it in there somewhere. I just missed that little piece of it. So he
Damn
had
right.
more blocks than they had made field goals
That's a
when
good
he
stat,
was the
Tony.
main defender.
Yes, good stat.
Was that better for you, Dan?
He also had 2 blocks before the Timberwolves made a shot in the first game.
Okay.
Thank you, Greg.
That is accuracy right
Thank you.
there.
So if someone gets a steal on the first possession of the series, you could say that team has more steals than the other team has baskets this series?
Yes, because for a point in time, that was right.
But how is that a relevant stat?
I didn't say it was relevant. I said it was a stat.
So just to set the record straight so that there is no more confusion about this, what Tony was saying, though we arrived there inefficiently, is when you challenge the 7'3" guy directly, it's more likely to get blocked than it is to go in, and that's why he's the defensive player of the year.
Zagak.
That seems obvious, though.
Yeah, okay, sure. It seems obvious, but when I tell you the actual stat was he had more blocks than they had made field goals when he was the defender is amazing. What other player can you talk about like that?
Relevant stat.
Only the 7'3" one who's better at blocking shots by a good deal than anybody else in the league. And he's not the best in the history of the league, right? But he's top. He's got to be top 3, correct? In terms of just being able to block everything, I would assume. Shaq actually was a pretty bad shot blocker for his size.
Mark Eaton was pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, but let me think about this for a second. Is Wemby gonna go down statistically, empirically, not an opinion? Is he going to go down as the greatest shot blocker in history? Because I would assume, without looking at any of the numbers, that there would be better shot blockers in the past just because we were all trying to get our shots at the rim. We thought that was the way to play basketball, not with the three-pointer. So I would assume the way that we're playing now would lead to fewer shot blocking opportunities.
Not to wade into these waters again without looking at it, but I'm pretty sure I heard that Wemby has the record for playoff blocks for the Spurs, and this is his first playoff run.
And so your choices there would be who? Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Spurs
Anybody ever
history?
wearing a Spurs jersey ever?
Manu
Wemby
Ginobili has more playoff blocks than Victor Wembanyama.
The Stanley Cup Final is here, and you can watch it with us, The Hockey Show. DraftKings presents The Hockey Show watch-along of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina.
Suavecito para abajo. We're watching Game 2, 8 p.m. Thursday.
And we are also watching Game 3, Saturday, 8 p.m. So join us as we watch the Stanley Cup Final together. It's The Hockey Show watch-along, presented by DraftKings.
Hey guys, we're about to go live. Lock in right after the game on the Le Batard Network YouTube page. Lock in.
Hey, we're going live.
I don't know why we were so silly today.
Right, because it's fun when we together.
Yeah, I know.
We were making fun
Zoes.
of Pablo. We've been making fun of Pablo because he's on a text string with Method Man. I should have never allowed it. And he doesn't refer to him as either Method Man or Meth. He keeps referring to him as Method. And it just seems impossibly wrong.
Pablo, are you running bid here? Are you doing the thing where you're like, I'm gonna try to make this uncomfortable and like do my thing and like, I'm gonna be Pablo?
What does that mean?
You know what that means.
You know what I mean.
You know exactly what that
You
means.
know
Coming
exactly
live from
what it means.
MSNBC and
exactly
live from the Harvard Club and live from whatever.
Yeah, Pablo.
The Met Gala. Here's Pablo. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner in some sort of super futuristic building. I'm here. Look.
He finds out.
He's standing on the stairs and other people watching him from down low and he's standing up high.
40
We're all
podcast
looking at him.
awards.
Look at him. He's incredible. Oh my God. That's what I mean.
You have me in in a super future, like Avengers Tower.
Yeah.
Like where the Jetsons live.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Exactly right.
That's
You
right.
accepted the Pulitzer Prize, and you were standing on some sort of like red staircase in like this super futuristic building, and then everybody was looking over you, and I was like,
Sure,
"Oh my God, he's here! The Pulitzer Prize winner!"
Yes, we have reached apex mountain of self-regard.
As the New York Post, the Daily News. I forget who said Mount Pablo and coined that. It has come
That's
true.
another
to
part.
Tony's
Yeah,
defense
that's
now,
another
I realize.
part. Yeah. Now, was it the Post?
Yeah.
Was it the Journal? Was it the Exchange? I don't remember. Was it the Queen?
Let's play movies with Greg Cote here while Pablo's here. Let's see what we have here.
Oh, God.
Greg Cote doesn't know about movies. You could check it out at Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote. Let's play the latest movie clip.
All right, Greg, what movie is this from?
You, Brennan. I know you touched my drum set, and I want to hear that dirty little mouth admit it.
Okay, music, drums.
No chance on that, though.
You, Brennan.
That's
I
too-
know you touched my
no.
drum set, and I want to hear that dirty little
All right,
mouth
how many
admit
of
it.
these do you have?
iconic.
How many of these do you have? How many do you have left?
I have like 5 more.
All right, play them all. Let's see if you can get any of them.
Do you don't know that one?
No, hell no.
That was Step Brothers.
Okay.
Okay, here's the next one.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Oh, I like that.
It's Danny
yeah.
DeVito.
I'm close to that one. He plays a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he does.
He does. In My Cousin Vinny.
Exactly.
My Cousin Vinny.
No, that is not.
Oh.
It's not My Cousin Vinny.
I thought it was he's playing a lawyer.
You were right on that.
That's Goodfellas. That's not My Cousin Vinny. That's Goodfellas.
He stars in both of them.
My cousin
he
Vinny
was
is
on the right track.
2 Utes. That's my cousin Vinny.
Okay.
Play another one for
half
him.
credit. Half credit.
No.
No credit.
Half credit.
You called this guy Danny DeVito earlier.
0 credit.
All right, here's the next one.
I am your father.
Star Wars.
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, come on.
That's close enough.
number
That's
one.
No, it's not.
There's
It's
two
not
of
close
them.
enough.
The
There's
original
2 of
one.
them.
No, that's not it.
No,
not
but
it.
that's
That's close enough.
That's
It's
half
not close
credit.
enough.
Half credit.
He just said
It's not
close
close enough. It's
For
one
him,
of the
we're
movies.
grading
Wait,
on
what?
a curve.
Wait, Greg.
Not
What
on
are
a
the other
curve.
names?
That's a point.
Greg, what are the names of the other Star Wars movies in that trilogy? Do you know what they are?
Well, I just saw The Empire Strikes Back. And the
Great.
third one, it should be The Empire Strikes Back, Jack. I don't know the third one.
I mean, if you just saw The Empire Strikes Back, like that's from The Empire Strikes Back.
The third one has the word Jedi in it.
The Return of.
Put it
The
on the
Return of the
poll.
Jedi.
Should it be The Empire Strikes Back Jack at Le Batard Show?
Yes, it should. And you know it.
All right, I got another one.
Very good. What?
All right.
Oh, I love that guy.
Who's that guy?
It's, the swaggery Texan.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
He played a lawyer.
You know who I mean.
Yes, I do know who you mean. Do you know who you mean?
No,
played a lawyer, Greg.
I know his face. I just don't
All
know.
right.
All right. What is the name of that movie?
What's the name of the guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's wearing a hat. I don't know. Cowboy hat.
Nice hat. Asshole.
Sometimes.
No. That's a backward cap.
His name is Cowboy Hat?
No, I just don't know the name of the film. Say it one more time.
All right.
That's not going to help you.
Long Weekend.
No.
That's Dazed and Confused. Matthew McConaughey is what you were looking for.
Yeah,
there.
McConaughey, yeah.
Is it McConaughey or McConaughey? Is it McConaughey or McConaughey?
McConaughey.
I go hey.
Hey.
Now
Hey.
I have two more here.
Hey,
One is
A
insanely.
human cowboy hat, in Greg's defense.
One of these is insanely easy, and it would be hilarious if he missed it. The other one is kind of difficult. He definitely won't get
All
it.
right, don't give him the difficult one. Let's see if we punctuate this with the easy one.
All right, here we go.
To infinity and beyond.
Do you guys believe that the nation at large cares about what's happening at CBS? It's an American institution, one of the original 3 networks. You have just total chaos going on there, where yesterday Scott Pelley is fired. 60 Minutes has been disgraced. The whole thing, one of the great journalistic entities of all time, one of the great television shows of all time. How long has 60 Minutes been on the air? Scott Pelley is sitting there trying to defend one of the great journalistic institutions of all time, one of the great television programs of all time. He's trying to defend its nobility. He's trying to protect it from the creeping that comes from corporate that infects editorial content when you want those two things to be separate. And he's getting trampled by everything happening with our government and CBS. Does anyone care?
I thought you were going to go in the direction of Russell Wilson joining CBS.
57 years off the top of my dome for 60 Minutes.
Does anyone care? Can I get anyone?
We care. People who are very online care. People who really care about politics care. However, there are metrics that suggest a huge majority in this country avoid the news altogether.
But CBS, and maybe you have to be older like me to appreciate this, CBS was the network of Walter Cronkite in the 1960s and 70s. For a quarter of a century in this country, the most trusted man in America was Walter Cronkite. I mean, that was certifiable. The polls indicated that. So that's the network that is now doing what we're seeing it do.
Well, let's bring Jessica in here to talk about this and other things. Jessica, what are your thoughts? Because the flames keep rising on everything happening at CBS. For those of you not familiar with some of the details, they need, in order to make this merger go through, they need government support. You see that the press is under attack from every angle. And in terms of network news, whether it's Jimmy Kimmel or this, these are the seismic things that do get attention. What did you make of what happened at CBS yesterday? And what do you make of what's happening at 60 Minutes in general, Jess?
I do think people care, Dan, because even though fewer people watch the news and watch television now than historically, this is still one of the top-rated news broadcasts on TV. It consistently is one of the highest-rated news programs that exists. And it's, it's an iconic, it's a staple of the news. It's a staple of your Sunday afternoon when you're done watching a golf tournament or a football game. You hear the and the journalists who are on 60 Minutes are people that, even if you aren't a news junkie, you know who Scott Pelley is, you know who Leslie Stahl is, you know who these people are. And yeah, what's happening is pretty horrifying, even if maybe fewer people care than 20 years ago. I think a lot of people still do really care because this is such an iconic brand in news. And what happened yesterday, Scott Pelley being fired and the shakeup with the executive producer and executive editor roles a few weeks ago, and a person, Nick Bilton, who doesn't have any experience in network television, being promoted to oversee like one of the most prestigious journalism jobs in television with no television experience, like I said, is pretty shocking, even amid all the changes at CBS News and hiring someone at CBS News and Barry Weiss who doesn't have any journalism experience either. That's kind of where this whole thing started. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty horrifying still, Dan. And like these news broadcasts have reputations, and yes, they don't always get everything 100% right, and there's missteps here and there, but they trade on their reputation. And so when the reputation gets damaged and you have Scott Pelley writing this long rebuke of what all the changes have been over the last few weeks, then I don't know how you ever get that reputation back. And someday this current administration may not be in office, and that will still just be gone because of what's happened over the last few months.
Yeah, that's the part that's interesting to me, because like Scott Pelley totally lit them up in his, first the letter got leaked, his termination letter, and then he sent out a message as to what's happening there. And he lit them up, and he is accusing them of bowing down to this administration, and that's where their direction is, to make sure you appease them. And I know CBS News is always supposed to be completely separate entity from CBS as a whole. Is there any, because Jess mentions there, like this administration, they're not going to be around forever. They're only going to be around for a couple more years. Like, is there any sign or any idea that they would, do the news that the way that they've always done it once the merger goes through?
There are all sorts of things happening throughout the media that I believe people aren't noticing because you need corporations to stand for something, and they don't like to stand for anything. So as far as I can tell, ESPN is employing Don Van Natta to not investigate too vigorously much of anything that can be problematic for any of their league partners. That's over what we have in sports and what you have happening here, and I wonder what the damage of this is. Greg Cote just mentioned Cronkite as someone you trust. As everything starts changing and everyone, Jessica, becomes a little more like me, being fooled by the shark in the water on the internet because AI is making everything too confusing, what is the value of people and a thing you can trust in the modern age? 60 Minutes, more than anything I can think of on television, is a thing I can trust, even though sometimes you get things wrong. They are meticulous about making sure the difficult subject matter they get right. So what is the value of that in the modern age? Simply something that you trust more than the average thing bringing you information.
I mean, the value is immense because there are so many places you can get incorrect information now, more places than you can get correct information. So if you have something that you trust, there's people looking at this, there's people vetting this, there's editors who this is their full-time job, is to verify the information and for these journalists to seek the truth as best as they know it and tell it to their audience, then yeah, if that gets eroded, it's an incredible loss for everyone. Even if you aren't someone who consumes it, the people who do bad things in the world are emboldened to do worse things because they know they won't get caught if there's no one looking into them.
This has to do with what's happening at CBS News, and when I read it, it sort of warmed my heart a little bit. A student reporter named Santiago Campos just won the Mike Wallace Memorial Scholarship at the News Emmy Awards. And in accepting the award, he said, "While I want to thank CBS News for funding this generous gift toward my education, I want to also acknowledge how the recent direction of the outlet stains the legacy of Mike Wallace, the namesake of this scholarship." So I think even people in their 20s are appreciating what's going on and the gravity of it.
Oh, but one of the things happening, though, Jessica's talking about right and wrong, and she's not doing that morally. She's just doing it factually. She's saying the importance of getting things right as opposed to wrong. But I think it's larger than that. That anyone can do. What 60 Minutes did is they were meticulous about being fair. They were trying to be objective. That's not right, and that's not correct and incorrect. That's the amount of vetting that goes into how do we report this most objectively and most fairly, given that humans generally don't get to objective. Like that's not real. It's an objectivity is a total illusion. We all have our biases, but what they were doing more than right and wrong and what they are doing and what's being contaminated is the fair. They're baking the bias into the corporation so that it affects everything beneath it. And I guess that's what I'm asking you. Do you care about fairness? Do you care about one side gets to fight unfair while the other side is trying to cling to fair, and everything happening about the decay all around us makes it so that the fair gets contaminated?
Yes.
No, I mean, I totally agree. It used to be you assumed fairness out of all the major journalism outlets. And then you had Fox over here on the right, and then you had MSNBC over here on the left, and all of a sudden it became harder to tell what was fair and what was partial. And now that's crumbling even
My
further.
question to you, I guess, is anyone even aspiring to it anymore? Like, if the audience doesn't care about fair, who's going to cling to, I want to make this fair? Like, why? If everything's against it, if it's not just the government, but it's also your corporation, what Scott Pelley is fighting for, imagine what it takes, okay, for Scott Pelley to care about what I'm talking about so much that he's fighting everyone and changing his career path when what he wants to be doing is be on 60 Minutes because he knows it's the most prestigious of the fairnesses, Jess.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're making a binary between right and wrong, I think fairness is what's correct. Like, that's what's right to do when you're in the news business. And for a long time, the networks were supposed to be the places where that was baked into the requirements of what they did. And so, yeah, you have the introduction of cable news, like Greg mentioned, and all these other outlets that are injecting more opinion and analysis and personality into what some other, some piece of reporting or something that's happening. But you would still have, your New York Times or your 60 Minutes or legitimate news outlets that were demarcated between personality and analysis and opinion and just basic reporting. But if you're in the business of making money, then reporting is something that a lot of people, especially governments, don't want you to do because it gets in the way of making money. And so if you're someone who buys a news brand or merges a news brand or whatever, is overseeing one, and your objective is just to make money at all costs, then doing stuff that pisses off a president or another government is a conflict. And if you're a journalist, you understand that, yeah, there are conflicts, but the basic thing that should fight back against that conflict is what the truth is. So yes, Dan, I mean, I think fairness is a moral objective, just like correctness or just like, being right or doing what's right. I think those things all kind of tie hand in hand in the journalism profession.
The Pelley letter had a lot in it. It was very long. He's obviously very passionate. And I'm guessing he's under stress with all of it because it's never easy to be doing this kind of freedom fighting. But here he writes, "For my part, new management has instructed me to inject falsehoods and bias into a politically sensitive story. I've been told to include assertions that are unverified. To date, in every case, I have managed to ignore these instructions or refuse them. Recently, politicians have been invited to choose correspondents for interviews on the broadcast." I don't think anyone understands how hard it is to fight for this stuff when your own employer doesn't back you, is part of making you feel like I've got to fight against the people who are supposed to be my backing because I can't fight the president of the United States and the government by myself. I have to have something that supports the things that we're supposed to be about. And everything that happens here is just the beginning of how it is that it gets corrosive because they're just running off all of the people who want to do this. Let's get to the Knicks and New York because she's in New York. And I wanted to just find out, your fiance must be a lunatic right now. Have you ever seen what he's presently enduring as a Knicks fan? I shouldn't say enduring, presently feeling as a Knicks fan.
Today is like his Christmas because there haven't been any games left yet. So we don't know how the Knicks are going to perform, Dan. He put on his little Knicks windbreaker this morning and we're talking on the elevator with other Knicks fans and everyone's like, "Oh, let's go Knicks." People in the coffee shop were like doing like a thumbs up to each other like, "Oh, let's go Knicks." It's very cute. It's adorable. I'm super excited. I mean, the city is definitely buzzing right now. Unfortunately, I did listen to Sam Morrill yesterday, which kind of made me want to root for the Spurs, but I am really pumped for how just alive everything is going to feel over these next couple of weeks in New York City. God willing, next couple of weeks.
Does Sam have that effect on everybody?
Yeah.
They make you root against New York?
Yeah.
Even though her fiance...
I thought that was kind of the point of bringing him on.
Yeah.
Because like none of you guys are like New York fans.
It would break her heart.
Dan is.
It would be something that would break her fiance's heart. She's going to have... Jessica's life is going to be tougher if they lose that series. She's going to have an unhappy, a broken person around her because does he care about anything the way he cares about this in sports or in life?
No. I mean, he went to a school that doesn't even have college football, so no. I mean, I would include life. I would say, I mean, maybe fishing.
What about you?
I think he cares about fishing. What? No, definitely not. That's ridiculous.
What's over your left shoulder there? What's over your left? What do we have there?
Speaking of sports, New York sports, this was the giveaway at the Mets game last Friday night.
That's a good giveaway.
It's great.
Bobby Valentine disguise night.
He came out with a mustache. He threw the first pitch. He came out with Lee Mazzilli, and it was great that he embraced that. It legitimately, that guy has had a great managing career, and it's legitimately the thing I first associate with him is that he wore a fake mustache in the dugout after he'd been ejected.
Dan, I love going to sporting events with my sister because she's kind of like an alien. Like, she doesn't know anything about sports, so everything she learns about sports is like the first thing she's ever heard about them in her life. So we got to the ballpark and they were handing these out, and she was just like, what is this? I don't understand this. And then I was like, I got to show her the video, and she's like, so he just came back with a mustache? And I was like, yep. But you don't get it. It's really funny. I think she slightly appreciated it. But then to top it off, Dan, I got to see Mr. and Mrs. Met. And first of all, Mrs. Met was looking good. Okay, she was looking really good.
She always.
But second of all, Mr. Met had on the Bobby Met, like they did a giant mustache and sunglasses for Mr. Met, which I love. I think he looks great. Kind of into the mustache.
Looks better. Looks Latin. Looks a little bit Latin.
Looks cuckish. Am I right, Zach?
Oh.
Yo.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard
both there
Show.
together.
Are you attracted to Mrs. Met? Yes or no?
100% is going to be the answer.
How did this picture come to be?
Can we do another poll question? Should Mr. Met always wear the mustache and sunglasses?
Yeah, he looks better.
Dan, I got to sit in some very fancy seats because it was someone's birthday. I got invited. I don't know. But they came and visited, and there was a cannoli cart.
How happy
it was a make your
were
own
you?
cannoli cart.
How
And
happy were you?
I was like, can you just put some filling on a plate? And I ate it with a fork. It was delicious.
So that you eat with a fork.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I couldn't use my
Steak.
fingers. It was in a ballpark. That's kind of gross.
How did it come to be that photo was taken with Mr. and Mrs. Met?
They came to see me. They knew I was there. They knew I wanted to meet them. They were like, all right, we'll make a little visit where Jess is sitting. I was thinking maybe I could do like, I heard about this the night before, maybe like a Speed Amazon Texas A&M Aggies hat, but it wasn't going to get there in time.
I obviously
So I said,
remember.
I'll just be myself.
I obviously remember Bobby Valentine coming back into the dugout and wearing the mustache and the glasses. What was then the fallout from that? Did he get thrown out again? Did Major League Baseball do anything?
They caught him. Yes, they caught him and then punished him.
I'd like to think he got away with it.
Yeah.
No.
So you got to give him credit for that.
Wait a minute. You guys thought that disguise worked, and then it was something.
He just finished the rest of the game in the dugout.
So I just never wanted to follow the story to its end. I just wanted to assume he got away with it.
Well, yeah, no, it's more about like if the umpire throws him out, I don't think the umpire ever expects him to, let me peer into the dugout and make sure he didn't return.
Here's the thing, guys. The video that is on the MLB YouTube channel ends with him in the dugout with the mustache and the sunglasses. So that's, to me, where the story ends, is him standing there. Because this was 1999. I didn't watch this game live. All I have now are the official documented YouTube videos on the MLB YouTube channel.
I think he got away with it.
So that's the story to me. I think he got away with it.
Wait,
too.
I think he got away with it.
That's my truth. That's
this-
my world that I'm living in, Dan.
That's fine. You guys can keep your truth, but I'm going to guess, without any memory of this, that we're going to laugh at how laughable the consequences were. I'm going to guess that this was so worth it for Bobby Valentine to do.
$5,000 fine.
That's what you're guessing?
Yeah, that would be my guess.
Yeah, back then,
That
that'd be a lot of money.
No, wait a minute. For that, wait a minute.
25 years ago.
Greg, for that penalty of they've thrown you out of the game and you've disrespected and disregarded the authority so much that you put on a terrible mustache and go back into the dugout and just refuse the ejection, you think that
$5,000 fine. That's what I'm going with.
That's all it's worth.
Well, it's a good
My initial
guess,
search
but
is $5,000 on the money.
Really?
Two games, and
suspension.
$5,000.
2 game suspension. That's, I don't know about that.
Also,
By the
this
way,
game was exactly 1 week before the New York Knicks began their
Yeah.
finals in 1999. It was June 9th, 1999, and then June 16th, game 1.
2 games, $5,000 is all he got for. You would agree that that's not enough, right?
Oh, what's
no,
the precedent?
It's plenty. You got to give
Right,
him
that's
credit.
true, Mike.
Ingenuity. You know, give him credit for that. Are you kidding me?
How about the umpire get control of his game?
I mean, Bud Selig had to make something up. That had never happened before.
What?
He had.
Well, it's not like it's gonna stop anyone from doing it again because it's not.
He wore a
to Dan's
mustache?
point,
I'm
I
picturing
feel
how
like
how did the
might do it.
broadcasters handle that? You know, the broadcasters are looking in the dugout going, guy looks a little like Bobby Valentine.
Well, famously, the cameras caught him and they had fun with it.
Yeah, that is what happened. That's in the YouTube video. Greg, I have 2 catchphrases for you from my dad.
Wow.
He wants you to tell these to Boog or something. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't.
What are they?
One is. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes, sirree, Bob.
Yes, sirree, Bob. That's old school. Okay.
Thoughts? Okay. We like it? We don't like it?
I've heard of it. It's something that's been said in the past. I've never said it. It's not
What is
mine.
this, the Shark Tank for catchphrases?
I mean, yes, sirree, Bob.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought it was for
Yeah.
actually though.
Yes,
like
sirree,
what else do we
yes,
do
sirree,
on the
Bob.
show?
Right. There you go. What's the
Okay,
other
I got
one?
another one for
Yeah.
you. Better than a sharp stick in the eye.
I like that.
Okay, that's in the same
We
category.
can work with this.
Yeah, that's in the same category as dumber than a box of, rocks.
You'd be bad at
Right.
Shark Tank. You either got to be in on it or out.
You can tell me they suck. They're not mine.
He was being polite.
What's
He
the
was
sec-
being. He was trying to be nice there. Like he just when someone looks at what you're suggesting and goes, okay.
Okay, yes, sirree, Bob, I reject. What's the second one again?
Better than a sharp stick in the eye.
I'm going to give that a mild thumbs up.
A mild
Yes.
thumbs up.
Very good.
That would, if I increase, and this is just a rumor, if I increase my catchphrase countdown from 60 to 75, sharper than a stick in the eye,
Sharp stick in the eye.
maybe 75th.
But that doesn't seem like it's very memorable to you because you've
No,
forgotten it now
that's
twice.
True. Yeah, that's true. It's a
I
good
want
point.
a 25% stake in your catchphrase.
A mild thumbs up is the most tepid endorsement.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Imagine Mr. Wonderful.
You're being polite though.
Don't.
You're tell her what you think. Like what a mild thumbs up is not. It's not support.
No, I mean, I've heard of Yes Sirree Bob. That's something my dad might have said, or my mother more like it. And sharper than a stick in the eye is in that
that's not it.
category. Like I mentioned, it's tell your dad.
Say it right once.
Work a little harder. What? Sharper than a stick in the eye? What does this
That's
say?
not it.
What is this saying? A mild
It's 4
thumbs
times
up.
now.
Okay.
Not here to take a quiz.
Yeah, this is when he starts to peter out if the show hasn't come to him for 45 minutes
loves
after
the
a
phrase
couple
peter
straight
out.
Hey,
days.
that's what I'm talking about.
Man, I already told you about. That's my phrase.
Not anymore, buddy. Not
That's what
anymore.
I'm talking about.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Doesn't make it right.
Zaz, what level of disrespect, Jessica, would you say it is that 17th on Greg Cote's catchphrase list is what he just sang, and that has been one of Zaz's signature phrases not sung for about 20 years, and Cote not only didn't know that, Cote also stole it, made it a song,
Nope,
and says it's
wrong.
now him.
Can you sing it for me again?
Yeah, mine is, and the first syllable in this is key. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. And what's yours?
And
Zaz?
Zaz's.
That's what I'm talking about.
See, totally
Those are
different.
totally different.
Thank
I'm
you.
with Greg.
See?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Greg always wins.
not even spiritually similar at
Yes,
all.
exactly.
It's the same words. All he did was put a hey in front of it.
I sing mine.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
You grunt yours. I sing mine. Put a little melody into it.
Yeah, they're different. I'm sorry, Zaz.
I'm trying to sing anything.
Zaz, try singing it.
Wait, Zaz, did you like the finale of Euphoria?
I've never seen that show. Do you know what happened, though?
I did hear what happened.
Yeah.
Tragic death.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
sad.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Should Brendan Sorsby play college football again?
Wait, can you say that again? Should Brendan Sorsby play college football again? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Probably not. And I feel bad saying that because I feel like he probably does have a serious addiction and illness and needed treatment for it. But I listened and read to, or not, didn't listen, but I read to the arguments that were being made to get the injunction to allow him to play next year for Texas Tech. I'm just not sure, man. It just seems like you're putting a bunch of bets, thousands of bets on professional and college games, including bets on your own team. Even though you weren't playing, you were still on the roster. And you only went to treatment because you knew you were going to get caught. Like, I guess I'd be more sympathetic if he volunteered himself to treatment not knowing he was going to get caught, and it was like, hey, I have a problem, and I know this might ruin my career, but I need treatment, instead of like, like it seems like a PR move, which it might not be. I'm not, I'm, like I said, probably needs it, but it just feels like you did thousands of bets, including on your own team. You probably shouldn't play. And the best part is, Dan, he could still play professional football, because like the argument that this is going to irreparably harm him when a bunch of NFL teams are like, yeah, we could draft him.
I don't know. Like, Jess, do you think an NFL team's going to give up a supplemental pick for him? I don't.
No, but they could still sign him. I mean, he doesn't have to be drafted, I guess, right?
Well, no, he has to. He does have to be drafted. He can't just, I'm a free agent now. That's why I'm saying supplemental draft. I imagine he would enter a supplemental draft, and I don't think anyone's going to select him.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you do have to, I mean, I understand there's like a bidding process and all of that. I don't think there's been a supplemental draft pick in like
somebody would take him.
definitely
It's
get
too
taken.
valuable. Like that's exactly how you want to get your quarterback, as damaged property that you could get cheap.
I'm sorry, all you have to do is give up that round pick in the following draft. Brendan
Correct.
Sorsby had legit NFL prospects.
Yeah.
He was weighing going into the NFL, and there were plenty of GMs that gave him a first-round grade. Like we'll go past the first round and second round perhaps, but that third round teams are going to start thinking about it seriously, and then you get into later rounds and it's a guarantee.
Jessica, thank you. Check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast. What was that sound at the end? The Echoes with Mike.
I don't know. You guys are
Golick
changing
Jr.
my mind now.
It seems like did we change your mind? It's just look. There's value at the quarterback position, and no matter what the stigma is, Deshaun Watson got a ton of money guaranteed. Like if you can play that position, the desperation is such that the morality evaporates.
Yeah, no, my mind changed back.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't play again.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. It feels good.
It's insulting every time you do it. Insulting me.
Get closer to the microphone, please.
Well, I'm mad, so
not fun when- it's
I
not fun
become
when you do it.
unprofessional when I'm mad.
Bye, Jessica. Thank you. Good seeing you.
Nice chat with you.
It was nice chatting with you, and I like that she had that mustache there available for us. You can't give me enough Bobby Valentine's mustache. I wanted to
$5,000.
That's so little. 2 games and $5,000 for simply just saying to the umps, yeah, I know you ejected me. I refuse your objection.
Seems very insubordinate.
I'm just following Dan's sliding scale of moralities when it comes to punitive measures in the MLB. Telling an opponent to suck your bleep, that's fine.
Didn't tell him. Didn't tell him. Just
yeah, he gestured it.
Sign language?
Nope. Didn't
All right.
tell him.
So all right.
Did not tell them.
My apologies, Dan. In fairness to you, so according to Dan's sliding scale of MLB,
his hips told him
moralities.
They don't lie.
Signaling to an opponent directly to suck your bleep, that's fine. But showing up in a goofy mustache, that wasn't punished enough.
For the record, I'd like everyone in sports to ignore the umpires and wear goofy mustaches. I'm surprised that baseball wasn't more indignant about what happens there, given how much people in charge like to have authority respected. For me, make it all circus clowns, put mustaches on everybody, have everybody doing the X across their crotch, but I'm surprised that baseball didn't have we'll call it a stiffer penalty. For
That would have been the move. Now you look in the dugout and every Mets player and coach has a disguise on. Now you don't know who's who.
That's what they should have
Now,
done.
Bobby, you're just like, it's like, I don't know.
They never would have known.
That's true.
what they should have done.
I've had a lot of questions as to how many of these things you have lying around in your clubhouse. What is the purpose of this? It seems calculated.
You know, in horse racing, they DNA test every horse prior to a race to make sure that you're not subbing in a better horse who looks similar to this horse. True story.
That's an interesting fact, actually, because that is a good way to cheat.
Switcheroo.
I've often thought, I mentioned this actually last year. I don't remember what the context was. in football, you can take your guy who has been ejected for targeting. You could do it. Put him in someone else's uniform, run him out on the field and see if you can get away with it, because they're wearing masks and they can be in a disguise. And while some people might notice the running style is different, you can get one of your ejected for targeting players to wear a different uniform and the helmet. And some people might not know that your starting cornerback who was ejected for targeting is actually back in the game in somebody else's uniform.
Which college coach would do this?
I've thought about this. It cannot be a starter. It cannot be a star. Like these teams prepare for these opponents, they would realize, wait, why is Xavier Lucas wearing someone else's uniform?
Like with the wide receiver who the cornerback got thrown out of the game and the wide receivers lined up against him. Would he all of a sudden start pointing and yelling to the referee? That's not him. That's not him.
What if he was wearing a Bobby Valentine mustache? What if you actually committed to the bit and like had an assortment of things you were trying to do to make it look like that isn't the player that you think it was? I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about a prosthetic. I'm talking about just somebody in makeup going for a long time to have their look entirely distorted. For example, on HBO Max, a lot of people are watching The Penguin and they have no idea that's Colin Farrell. I'm sure that actors are opposite Colin Farrell, or, like extras who are coming in to do a couple of shoots and they're like, what do you mean that's Colin Farrell? That can't be Colin Farrell. That doesn't look anything like Colin Farrell. You don't think that that's something that could possibly be gotten away with in college football, and only in college football because you can't see their faces?
Who's Colin Farrell?
I was thinking that. Actor, right?
Do you really not know who Colin Farrell is? Do you think you can't name a single Colin Farrell movie?
You just said The Penguin. Is that the name of the movie?
I don't even think by look. If we gave him like who of these 5 people is Colin Farrell, I don't think he would have any
Is
clue.
he the guy who gained like 100 pounds for a role?
Well, a lot of people have done that.
Really? Name 2.
Brendan Fraser.
Okay, name another one.
Christian Bale.
Name 3 more.
Wow, that is some impressive moving of the goalpost.
Russell Crowe, I believe.
I think that just happened
Yeah,
naturally.
by accident. Yeah.
Hey, come on, what are we doing there?
After
he worked hard.
Gladiator. Juju is here now because we're doing the post game to celebrate the World Cup, and we need a situation here with the World Cup where we're covering it a little bit better than we've been covering it, because it's kind of a giant event.
A situation.
in
Thank you.
South Florida.
Kind words. Appreciate it. Yeah, in this episode, Tom Bogert of The Athletic is going to help me preview the U.S. men's national team, and our good friend Chris Whittingham will join me later this week to preview the rest of the tournament.
If nothing else, watch it on YouTube to see that glorious mustache of Tom's.
So Juju is here now instead of the post game because we're going to update the polls. It felt like we had a lot of them today. Where are we, Juju? Thank you for joining us. Where are we on the poll updates?
Yes, sir. Do you trust Jason Benetti's ability to be sultry? 53% of the audience says yes, they do.
Wow.
My boy. Should the waiter or waitress tell you when the gratuity is included? 92% of the audience says yes, they should. Did Nick Wright purposely read the wrong name at the Sports Emmy Awards? 94% of the audience says yes, he did.
Yeah.
If you went to sleep with 4,000 followers and woke up with 4.7 million followers, what would be your first feeling? Panic or delight? 83% of the audience says panic. Where does the finger start? Above the knuckle or beneath the knuckle?
This is big.
53% of the audience says beneath the knuckle.
Yeah.
If you rob 3 home runs in a game, but then a home run bounces off your forehead, are you then just an average total outfielder? 82% of the audience says yes. Are you attracted to Mrs. Met? 64% of the audience says yes.
Wow. Too
and
low.
Last poll, should Mr. Met always wear the sunglasses and mustache? 89% of the audience says yes, and those are your polls.
After the Knicks game tonight, Juju and Trista and Tony will be up on YouTube at DLS Hoops, where Le Batard and Friends is found on YouTube. Follow that. And also, we've got Roy and his crew is doing hockey watch-alongs after all of the games in the Stanley Cup Final, which we have not talked about enough today. Vegas, one of the most ridiculous stories anywhere in sports.
They are absolutely lucky that Carolina did not score 4 goals on them in the first period. They survived that first period and then took over in the second period. Bad defense by Carolina in that second.
And just to clarify, you will be watching the game live.
It's the live watch along tomorrow. You can watch it on the Le Batard YouTube page.
Yes, so Tony and Trista and Juju will show up after Knicks Spurs, but Roy and his crew, Rose and Ethan and Dwork, they'll be watching the game live. And also, in about 5 minutes, Morally Abhorrent returns. The soccer preview will be live on YouTube as well as part of our post-game show. Thank you, Juju. Appreciate the time, sir. You guys saw, right, that they are now taking down all of the barricades, all of the prohibitions, all of the rules around Madison Square Garden tonight. The police presence, they're allowing that to be a watch party outside of Madison Square Garden.
I'm going to be there this weekend.
You're going to have in the streets, though. Yeah, I'm going to be there tomorrow, actually, but not for the game. I have to go up there for something Pablo-related. I don't know if it's a secret what Pablo's doing or not.
Me too.
I think so. I shouldn't give
Accepting
any
another award of some sort that you're going to be there for?
You've already said too much.
Yeah, I probably have said too much. But we have, outside of MSG, it's going to be nuts tonight. You guys,
of course it is.
You guys realize that it's going
Hellscape
to
of
be
a
an
city.
entire, yes, it's going to be a hellscape.
Yeah, sounds like a place you don't want to be, if I'm being honest.
Why would you ever want to be there?
Wouldn't you guys assume that there's going to feel like a loud heartbeat at the center of New York around Madison Square Garden?
I think it's going to be awesome.
Is it going to be like Times Square New Year's Eve vibes?
Look,
like that many people?
I'm flying to New York on Friday. Friday is game 2. I think I'm going to go check out what's going on around the Garden. I think that sounds pretty fun.
Heat shirt or not?
I haven't thought about that
Dude,
yet, but
I would
now
not do that.
I'll consider it.
Think about it.
Do it.
I'll keep it real. I scared.
I saw them like rip off a jersey of somebody.
Okay, let him try.
I dare him.
You got no ex-athlete with you this time.
Oh, my wife with me.
You wouldn't wear a Heat jersey.
Maybe I will.
Friday, outside MSG, you in a Heat jersey.
There will
a
definitely
Heat shirt?
There will definitely be a shirt underneath.
I'll
the
give you a
jersey.
$100 bill if you do that.
Don't want
To
the
wear a
shoulders
Heat
out.
shirt? Take that.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You'll be fine.
Go ahead.
Deal.
You're going to be fine.
It has to be around a crowd, though. I don't want you out there at 5:30 in the morning taking a video.
During the game at MSG.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Go ahead.
I am going ahead.
Well, it sounded,
See it
you
when I
said
believe it.
maybe a second ago. The $100 has lured you out?
Yeah, why not? $100.
Okay.
You're not scared to be being the only one wearing a Heat jersey.
What's going to happen?
Are you scared?
Never scared. What's going to happen?
What? Famous last words.
What's going to happen?
What could possibly happen?
These people are involved with the game. They're going to be worried about someone wearing a shirt of another team. That's so stupid. I'm not going to care.
A bunch of friendly Knicks fans. What could possibly happen?
Why do they care about what I'm wearing, not bothering anybody? It's not like I'm wearing a Spurs shirt. You're going to give me $100.
You're going to earn it.
Guy wants to earn.
Welcome back to Morally Abhorrent. And when we created this, this is a little sideshow attraction for the Le Batard Show alongside Chris Whittingham, it was to discuss a World Cup that everybody had mixed feelings about in Qatar. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that the title would still play 4 years later when the United States, Mexico, and Canada would jointly host the next World Cup. This is a World Cup that has left me feeling super conflicted, and many in our audience super conflicted, because we all thought that this would be going better. And I'm not just talking about the nation at large. I'm talking about the soccer and our global positioning inside of FIFA. And we're going to explore that a little bit here. And in this first episode, as we reintroduce this concept to you and the greater DLS universe, we're going to have a central focus. I'm going to have a lot of friends, a lot of familiar faces come through the show. Chris Whittingham will indeed be back. In fact, he will be in our next episode. But I wanted to start with the USA. We are hosting, after all. This is a pivotal moment in U.S. soccer history. Not just for the nation as it develops into a soccer nation, but also as a program. 2026 was supposed to represent huge progress and a legit opportunity to do something outstanding on the men's side. And right now, there is very little reason for hope. So we're going to bring in Tom Bogert of The Athletic, Golazo, and SoccerWise, the premier soccer insider, to help give us a lay of the land and catch you up on some history. Tom, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I know we talk ad nauseum in private about all the drama surrounding the U.S. soccer team. You're probably a little bit bored by it. So I just want to give people kind of like the top news items here. What happened from the last World Cup to where we are, and why is the U.S. so damn dramatic?
So at the last World Cup, the United States were the youngest squad at that tournament. They did not exceed expectations, but they did not fall below it. The round of 16 and the performances therein was just about what we'd expect. The fan base may have disagreed, and that led to a lot of discontent under head coach Greg Berhalter. But the top line here, since 2022 to now, not enough of the players have developed to quite the level we thought that they might. The poster boy for that, of course, is Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna, coming into the 2022 World Cup, was viewed as not just like an American wonder kid, like a wonder kid across the world. Like, he was one of the best in his age group in Europe as a teenager. Injuries have slowed him down, and he stagnated completely to the point where he played 500 club minutes at Borussia Mönchengladbach this year after being a peripheral figure for Borussia Dortmund the last 2 years. Christian Pulisic is still the best player in this team. He had a fantastic first half of the season for AC Milan this year, and then he did not score for club or country in the calendar year of 2026 until the last friendly. So, Mike, I don't know about you. Maybe there's a little bit more optimism after the United States beat Senegal 3-2.
Well, there is a little bit more optimism. And before we get into reason for that optimism, there is a little tea that was spilt over the last few years. A lot of infighting. A lot of people, you mentioned Gio Reyna, might be surprised to see him on this roster. There was a lot of infighting, a lot of drama. And for a golden generation that hadn't really accomplished anything, it all got a little excessive and way too dramatic for U.S. soccer fans' hopes. And I kind of feared that there was no coming back from it. Are these guys ever going to like one another? Because that's always been a big part of the great underdog U.S. men's national teams, is they were tight. And you can cite examples like 1998 when they weren't so tight. It could be disastrous. So what's happening here with this team chemistry? Can they survive the drama? If you could, give a little bit of background on that drama and help us learn how they pivoted and improved and came together.
Let me try to tell the story without taking up 9 minutes of just monologuing. But so at the last World Cup in 2022, Gio Reyna, as I said, he was one of the most talented young players in the world, in Europe in particular. He wasn't coming into camp with like perfect health, and he had been in and out in World Cup qualifying because of that. But when he played, he showed some special moments. Before the World Cup, or in the lead up to the World Cup, while they were in Qatar preparing, the head coach, Greg Berhalter, told Gio Reyna, like, you're probably not going to be a starter. Like, I don't view you as that in this tournament. He did not react well. It got to the point where there was a vote of whether or not Gio Reyna was going to get kicked off of the World Cup team just before the World Cup while they were in Qatar. They ultimately landed with him staying with the team, and he became like not a sideshow. It was part of the experience. Like, that is one of the biggest takeaways. He did not play much, and when he did, he was not effective. They ended up, I think he played a good chunk in that game against the Netherlands, and he didn't really change the game when they got eliminated. What makes this even more thorny is Greg Berhalter, the former coach and the coach during that time, and Gio Reyna's father, Claudio. Not only were U.S. national team teammates, they are both from New Jersey, and they are just about lifelong friends. Their wives played college soccer together. Those two families were as close as just about humanly possible. And then, during this Gio Reyna saga, Gio's father, Claudio Reyna, again, a U.S. great former teammate of Greg Berhalter, was like blackmailing the federation saying, I know things about Greg, play my son. Like, it was legitimate, like blackmail. And again, as a fellow New Jersey native, I'm trying to be careful with the blackmail in New Jersey, and it all doesn't look so good. And it ends up coming out that there was an altercation between Greg Berhalter and his wife when they were in college. That was physical. Like, it was a kick or something to that effect. Something that Greg Berhalter's wife, family, they had moved on from. And in the eyes of the public, if she wanted to tell this story publicly, it was her story to tell. But Claudio Reyna was going around to U.S. Soccer saying, I know these things about Greg, like using it as blackmail. Greg Berhalter remained the coach, and that got really, really weird because there was this period where his contract expired, but they hadn't named a new coach. They're still doing a coaching search. Greg Berhalter gets brought back, and he does name Gio Reyna in some of his squads before he ends up getting fired a couple years ago, 2 summers ago, to be exact, after a disastrous Copa America run. Since then, you know who's gotten into this United States national team? Greg Berhalter's son, Sebastian. Sebastian Berhalter and Gio Reyna have been close because their families have been close forever. They all say, this is all behind us. Gio Reyna goes as far to say this isn't redemption for me because I don't have anything to be redeemed from, which I thought that he was going to get some different media training and maybe be able to answer that question a little bit better. But I respect his honesty, so we'll leave it at that. But Sebastian Berhalter and Gio Reyna are like doing things together off of the field. And from what I've been told around the camp, and if you ask any player on the record, they go out of their way to talk about how tight this group is. This is a brotherhood. There was a documentary on HBO that I think is still airing right now that has been being filmed since before the 22 World Cup. And Tim Weah, Tyler Adams, all of these guys are like, this is a brotherhood. What I'm most excited for the people to see is how close we are and how much we love each other. So, Mike, it is a fair question from the outside to ask this, but if you look inside that locker room, that's what the guys are saying, that this is a brotherhood. And honestly, that started under Greg Berhalter. There were criticisms about either favoritism or it wasn't a competitive enough environment, but what he did was built a locker room, built a team culture. And then he got fired because that got stale. And Mauricio Pochettino has taken over, a star head coach, somebody who has not managed at an international level. He's had some slip-ups along the way to get here. But his whole thing was, okay, yeah, you guys are all brothers now. I don't care. Everybody needs to fight and compete for their spot every single day in training because even if you win it today, you got to go ahead and win it tomorrow. So it's a lot of different versions of this team and a lot of things that are coming together. But in terms of the locker room, the players themselves would say this is a brotherhood and we are as close as ever.
Well, let's talk about Pochettino because this was a big, splashy hire. Pochettino's managed for some huge club teams over in Europe. And a lot of U.S. soccer fans with 2026 in mind wanted a huge name. Now, I am a Chelsea supporter. I historically haven't been the biggest fan of Pochettino, but I did admire the ambition because U.S. soccer seemed to be taking the role more seriously, whereas before it was always such an incestuous job. It would be the pool of the same 4 familiar names. You'd go back. I honestly feared Bruce Arena might be back in the mix. And so they did something big and they swung for the fences. How did this start with Pochettino? And it hasn't always been smooth. In fact, there have been some peaks, there have been some valleys. And where do things stand now?
So if we're going to do real recency bias, it does feel better after they beat Senegal 3-2 in a friendly. There was a lot of really good attacking patterns, and for me, that was the biggest thing. Under Pochettino, in the calendar year of 2025, they called up 71 players. 71. I don't understand. I think that's too many. I get that you're trying to get the lay of the land and understand the pool and give a lot of people chances. And again, it's designed insecurity by this coaching staff that you can never feel comfortable that you have your spot. Well, 71 players, I think, is too much. Even so, they've had some valleys, man. They got smoked by Turkey and Switzerland last summer, right before the Gold Cup. This is when Christian Pulisic, the team's best player, asked the coach, hey, do you know the Gold Cup that's happening later this summer? Can I skip that so I could rest and be ready to go for club form and be able to last the year? Pochettino said, hey, if you don't want to be here for the Gold Cup, you can't come for those friendlies. Like that became a public thing. And then in the fall, there was legitimate questions. Is he going to can they even fire him? Do they have enough money to fire him? How could this happen so fast? They were getting killed at home against South Korea in New Jersey at Red Bull Arena. And it was like 80% South Korea fans, which is not abnormal for the national team because South Korea had never been here. That's what it's difficult to always have a home environment in this country because it's so unique. All that being said, it was like, oh my gosh, is he going to get fired? Can they make a change? Like his job security was like really being questioned. In the fall, they performed much, much better. They switched to 3 at the back during that South Korea game, and things were looking really good to end the year. And then in the March window to start 2026, they changed the system and they changed positions and they look awful again. And they get just absolutely played off the pitch by Belgium and Portugal. Portugal is a team that is better, but Belgium, while they are better, it shouldn't have been like that stark. So even when things were like getting better, he just changes the team, changes the lineup. And there were so many different lineups, so many different setups. And even in this game against Senegal, for all the good, the starting goalkeeper didn't play at all. Like, that's fine, right? But it's just indicative of all the different changes. When he named the World Cup roster, there was 2 central midfielders, one in particular, name of Tanner Tessman. The question was, is he going to start? Not, is he going to be on the roster? Well, he's left off the roster. Same thing with Diego Luna, who played 17 of 18 games in 2025. And Pochettino, like, he was on all the marketing stuff. Pochettino talked about how much he loves this player and all of this. And all of a sudden, he's not called in the team. I talk to, like, sources around players around the locker room who are like, this guy's so unpredictable. I don't, like, we have to be careful. We have to be kind of on edge, on our toes to not either do the wrong thing, say the wrong thing, and just end up in the doghouse, and we don't even know why.
Yeah, I thought Luna was actually one of the best things that Pochettino did, and I wanted that reward for him. But is there a method to the madness? Remember, the United States as a host nation didn't have to go through a qualification process. So this was an opportunity with low-stakes matches here to figure a lot of stuff out, find out your personnel. But in watching Senegal, this was a very fluid team. The formations were all over the place. I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing, but we're right there on the precipice of a World Cup. And I'm still struggling to find out what this team's identity is. And if I don't know what their identity is, it's hard for me to project a starting 11 that's our best starting 11. So what do you make of that?
Michael, I'll save you the trouble. Don't try to figure out his best 11 because it changes by every day and probably a few times a day, right? Like, I have no idea either, but I guess that's part of the beauty. And will this be successful? Do they get to the round of 16, which in 2022, I would have said quarterfinals or bust. Like, now it's like the expectations have slid backwards because of, like, they've just been uninspiring over the last 4 years. The talent, the pool of talent isn't as great as we thought it was, or it hasn't developed to a point that we thought it would. That being said, if they top the group and get through if they get to the quarterfinals, man, like, that ends up being successful. If it's the round of 16, we can have debates, we can have arguments. I don't think so, because they did all of this to be at a home World Cup to just finish exactly what you did at the last World Cup. It'll feel longer because this is an expanded World Cup, by the way. There is a round of 32 now. There wasn't a round of 32. That was the group stage last time. And part of being the host country is that the draw is weighted. The best teams are in Pot A, is what they call it. So if you're Spain and England, you can't draw each other in the group stage of the World Cup because it's weighted that way. Well, the host nations also get to be in Pot A. So the United States was always going to have a favorable draw, but particularly so, it's Paraguay, it's Australia, and it's Turkey. Turkey is, I think, the best team in this group. They have some of the best players, but they've had some of the issues that the United States have where they haven't lived up to the sum of their parts for a bit. I'd still very much respect them and be scared. And by the way, while I'm saying this about Paraguay and Australia, do you know who also thinks that they got a really lucky draw? Paraguay and Australia. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even mean it that disrespectfully to them, though Australians have taken it very much as disrespect anytime any pundit comes on TV in America and says something to that effect. But, like, there are no easy games at a World Cup, but there could have been harder games. And now, because it's 48 teams, 8 of the 12 third-place teams will get through. If somehow they don't get out of the group stage, like, you burn the entire federation out. It'd be an abject failure, unmitigated, right? But still, they should be winning this group. They should be winning this group, and we'll find out a lot after that opening game against Paraguay, because if they win, that's kind of smooth sailing. There will be less questions, and everything will be, hey, look at the process. You questioned me, but here we are. they drop points against Paraguay in that opening game, things are going to get really tense between that week until the Australia game.
Yeah, I don't want to be going into Australia needing a result because some really great teams have run into that nation in the past. Italy famously had a classic match against Australia in 2006 when they won the World Cup. They can be tough, and there's not a lot of difference between these teams on the international level. You have these players less in camp, and if you run into a team that's really organized, that has a break go their way, your hopes are dashed, and Tom Bogert may be burning down an entire soccer federation. Tom, one of the criticisms over our lifetimes as U.S. soccer fans is U.S. soccer fans are borderline delusional with their optimism and their standing in the world. Now, I don't know if this says more about us and the way that the world has gone over the last 10 years, but it feels like we've done a total 180. You do a vibe check on the U.S. soccer fan right now. Vibes are certainly not overly enthusiastic, bordering on delusion about their global standing. Outside of maybe Tim Howard and Landon Donovan talking about Deuce Dempsey's, bona fides against the world's elite. We're not going to get into that this episode.
I respect it.
Yeah. So what is close to the truth? Am I personalizing my view and how I'm down on the program and maybe everything that's going on in my life? Or is there actual real cause for concern here? Because I always think the U.S. is at its best when it is a galvanized underdog team that turns to its athleticism and its passion for the country and its passion for each other in that locker room. And with that attitude, they can accomplish some pretty terrific things even when they're mismatched.
I completely agree on that last part. And those were my favorite teams growing up, like particularly like that 2008 to 2012 era, like particularly at the 2010 World Cup, as well as at the 2014 World Cup, where we had a few piano players in Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey in particular, and a whole bunch of piano carriers that were all going in the same direction. And that's not even being disrespectful to Michael Bradley, who's one of my favorite U.S. national team players of all time. He was a dog. When this team has dogs and a couple special players or a couple players who can decide games and moments, that is the peak for the United States. So, Mike, when you talk about your view, like, are you personalizing it? For me, I think there's a lot of fans were like creating expectations that were not aligned with reality. We talked about that 2022 team. Potential does not equal current talent. And we were projecting so much from this group. A lot of it was Gio Reyna, but a lot of it was Christian Pulisic. And again, the first half of this year, he was in like player of the year conversation in Italy, or maybe the first couple months of Serie A. He's done it at a high level. He won the Champions League with Chelsea. And like he's been the best form of his career in total at AC Milan. But again, the last half of the year, he did nothing. I don't think that's all on him. That's partly on AC Milan, but it just goes to show with some of these guys. Like Chris Richards has developed. Weston McKennie is coming off the best year of his career, but for the most part, there was a lot of hope for a lot of different guys that like haven't quite really panned out, or at least have not panned out to the way we thought it would. So there was a lot of projecting that I don't think was aligned with reality. So it looks like we've like fallen below expectations. Again, I go back to 2022. There was a ton of complaints about Greg Berhalter. I don't really know in what world you expected that group to get to the quarterfinal. Like they could have, sure. And again, I don't think that they played beyond themselves, but I certainly don't think that they fell short of expectations, because that was a bunch of young players and a bunch of, again, talented players with potential, or things that we would hope. But for me, it was an overrating of the pool that has led people to be soured. And listen, we're not as bad as some of those games against Switzerland, Turkey, South Korea, and again, in the last window against Belgium and Portugal. But we're not better than Belgium and Portugal. Like, look at that group. Like, just one player, like De Bruyne and Doku. We don't have anybody near that level. Like, Pulisic is the closest one, and there's a handful in Belgium. You think, look at their center backs and everything. Thibaut Courtois, their goalies, like the best in the world. We don't have that level of talent. So I think the expectations were just out of whack to begin with.
Well, does this team have the ability to win over a nation through their style, through their tenacity? Because we've seen some magical runs in World Cups by host nations, some improbable upsets. Russia, granted, they were juiced to the gills, but they found a way to pull off improbable upsets. Germany, when no one expected them to make the deep run that they did because they were just starting a whole new generation, made it just short of a World Cup final. So can this team come together, use what is a pretty massive advantage in these World Cup competitions, being a host nation? Can that emotion be enough to carry a team that has a talent disparity from some of the global elites? No doubt. But when Pulisic is in form, he is a dog. he can be great. He has shown at the very top levels in Europe for prolonged stretches when he is fit that he can be arguably the best player on the pitch consistently. The match against Senegal was very promising. He had a pull assist, he had his goal, and it looks like Pochettino is going to get him in the best possible spot, which is have him in space and let him eat. So what do you expect from Christian Pulisic?
So that is the key. And I do genuinely believe that if the circumstances are right and Pulisic is good, like is on, he can be the best player on a team that gets to the quarterfinals. And when you're there, things are so small. You think of even in 2014 when the United States played Belgium, like Tim Howard had a superhero performance, and Julian Green scored a knockout round goal in stoppage time or in extra time. Sorry, and Chris Wondolowski had a chance to equalize it. And then you go to penalties with a goalkeeper who made more saves than anybody ever at a game at a World Cup. And
Chill just went down my spine when you said Wando.
So that's the thing. Like I felt that way about Landon Donovan and Clint Dempsey. That's how I feel about Pulisic and Balogun in particular. But there's others like really, really good players in this team. It's more about the structure of the team, and I hope that Pochettino keeps it the same. But there's no guarantee because they change all the time. Like I said, they figured out the system that worked really well for them, that kind of covered some deficiencies and played to the strengths. It's when you're in possession, you play with 3 center backs. And then 5 that are in the attacking channels, and they're in different areas, but you basically like possess out of 3 in the back, 2 in the midfield, and then 5 covering all of the channels in the attack. And that lets Pulisic play in that little half channel, not quite on the wing, but not quite through the center. And same thing, you let Serginho Dest get forward, you let Anthony Robinson on the other side get forward, but you defend out of a 4-4-2, and you need the right players to do that, which is the person who's playing that right-sided center back has to be able to defend in space. That all made sense. It was perfect. And then in March, they changed that when they played better teams. So, Mike, I think that can actually absolutely work. And if they play to the peak of that power, they'll win this group. But there's so many ifs and there's so many question marks. And of course, like the small sample size of a World Cup, things go weird. Arda Güler gets a free kick in the 7th minute and puts it in the top corner. That changes everything, right?
Yeah.
It's a long-winded way of saying, like, they can absolutely, but there's just so many ifs. And while I think it's there, we haven't seen it enough for me to confidently be like, absolutely yes.
Yeah, there's a chance that Pochettino decides, no, we're just going to pack it in and be super defensive. It's really hard to project. But right now, best I can tell, these backs are getting involved in the attack way more than I'm used to seeing historically from the U.S. national team. And that's going to require a lot from these central defenders and tracking back. And the team captain is 38 years old. I don't know how much he plays. I do have some thoughts on Tim Ream actually being named captain. But typically, when that is the case, when you have these backs getting as involved in the attack, and Dest just scored, so he's certainly getting frisky near the box, you need a goalkeeper to kind of be that Tim Howard type of guy that can save you a game. And historically, the U.S. has always had a very solid goalkeeper. This is the most unstable, uncertain goalkeeper situation that the U.S. has had in my lifetime. Why is that? We could always put out good goalkeepers that you can depend on.
And we'd have a backup who would start for a lot of other countries. And it's funny how that kind of works out. Like, that's always been a point of strength. I don't necessarily think it's like a weakness or anything. It's just definitely not a strength at this moment. So Matt Turner was the starter in 2022. He is statistically one of the best shot stoppers in Major League Soccer history. He went from walking on at FDU in college to being like a 4th-round draft pick in MLS. And by the way, there are more teams that don't make a selection at that point of the MLS Super Draft than teams that do. Like, the most common pick at that time is pass. Matt Turner was selected. Then he wasn't signed at first. He goes to training camp. So this is just a remarkable story. And then he's lost his starting spot over the last 4 years because he went to Arsenal. They broke his brain. They tried to make him play out of the back more. And same thing that happened with Zach Steffen when he went to Manchester City. All of a sudden, he went from an elite shot stopper to just okay, and probably a little bit less than that in the Premier League. He's back in MLS now, and he's back to that like incredible shot stopping form, which with the United States now, yes, in modern soccer, all the goalkeepers have to play out of the back. But like, it's not like Arsenal. It's not like Manchester City or Spain or England or whatever, right? Like, I call me old-fashioned. What I care most about is my goalkeeper that's a shot stopper. So if he ends up playing and he started this last friendly, I'd be fine with that. That being said, Matt Freese has earned this job. And if he is the starter, as he should be, as I believe he's going to be, he's maybe not quite the elite levels of shot stopping that Matt Turner can get to, but he won't be a weakness. And no, it won't be like a match winner necessarily, but I'm not entirely worried about goalkeeper, but like it is in the absence of having a Tim Howard or having a Tony Meola or having whoever you want to insert in between those two guys. Like it's not quite that. And that is at least a little bit of a concern, but like I wouldn't call it like a weakness.
All right. So historically, your captain plays all the time and is in the starting 11. I'm not so sure that's what's actually going to happen here with the U.S. and Tim Ream. Tim Ream probably, it's up for debate, but I can see what he brings to the table. And with the roster at the number that it is, you can certainly argue on merit why Tim Ream should be a part of this team, especially for a team that has been hit with valid accusations that they are immature. Is that why Tim Ream is the captain? Because in other examples of guys like Pulisic wearing the armband, or a guy that was vice captain and wore the captain's armband when Ream was not on the pitch, and Weston McKennie, a guy that has broken, curfew violations in the past and hasn't been the most mature. Is this a decision by Pochettino that is actually more about keeping that pressure from guys that might have, you could argue, have failed as captains before from a leadership standpoint and letting them be free of that responsibility?
I think it's kind of the case with Pulisic there. And McKinney, like, I think he's a leader in this group. But for me, Tyler Adams would be my captain. He was the captain at the 2022 World Cup when he was 23 years old, and he was one of the youngest captains ever, really. And he's been like a veteran leader since he was like 16. When he broke through with the Red Bulls, I've never seen a kid so mature and such like a natural born leader. And he's everything that I'd want in a captain, right? And he just hasn't worn the armband under Pochettino. I don't particularly know why, but Pochettino's gravitated towards Tim Ream. I think he's worn the captain's armband in 17 of Pochettino's 24 games. Pulisic did it a handful of times. The last major tournament the U.S. played in was the Copa America that ultimately led to Greg Berhalter being sacked. Pulisic was the captain that tournament. Tyler Adams was available. So it's just been a bit of an odd, like, rotating cast of captains for a group that's, like, at the top end, like, really ensconced in these are our guys. And that's not abnormal for the United States. Like, you think of it. But the best players are all entering their prime now, or in their prime. Like Tyler Adams, when he captained in 22, I was like, okay, he's just going to be the captain for a dozen years or however long that he plays for the national team. And he hasn't worn the armband since Qatar. So for me, I'd be following Tyler Adams, and I think he'll still be a natural-born leader. He even said that before Ream was named. He goes like, yeah, like whether I have an armband or not, we just view that as somebody who could talk to the ref. I'm going to lead like I'm going to lead. Tim's going to lead like Tim is going to. Christian Weston, Chris Richards, all these guys. So Mauricio Pochettino took a moment of levity when he was surprising Tim Ream at a press conference, which naming him as captain. And as Ream's kind of like overcome with emotion because he thought his international career was going to be over after the 22 World Cup. He was 34 years old. And he was kind of like, yeah, like he was more or less going camp by camp, like, well, might as well keep going if I have a chance. And now he's here. And that's a full credit to him. But as he's like overcome with emotions, Pochettino laughs, puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, no, this does not mean that because I name him captain, he starts every game. No, it doesn't work. Like, sorry, Tim. Like, so I think he's going to be the starter, but it was just funny that Pochettino was like, hey, by the way, I know you're my captain, but don't think that guarantees any playing time, because it doesn't.
Is this team's identity just that Pochettino wants all the options available to him at all times, even when it comes to captain? Because if you look at the roster selection, very versatile players, and it's hard to project an 11 without knowing exactly how we're going to play, and Pochettino appears to like it that way. That's not typically the way international football works. You have a system that is drilled into you. You are organized because we don't have these guys in camp for a very long time. This is a fascinating case study for Pochettino and the U.S. Will it be successful? I don't know. Let's look at the group matches and try to make some predictions here. We said that it's a favorable group, but as you highlighted, everyone else in the group is saying that too because the U.S. is atop it. So, Badr, let's talk about that match. I think 3 points are pretty much a must here. If you want to get this nation galvanized, if you want that team to come together and meet the moment, 3 points feels like a must-have here. Will that happen in your mind?
I think it will, but this Paraguay team, though the United States beat them in the fall, they're going to be a difficult opponent. They are. There will be similarities when I talk about Paraguay and Australia, insofar that neither one of these teams want to possess the ball. They want to defend really well, defend really hard. Paraguay is much more dangerous in transition than Australia is. So, like, Australia is more about defend and bunker and try to control the game, make it really difficult, hit you, be really difficult to play against, and set piece or other opportunities. Paraguay has more players that can really hurt you in transition. Julio Edson Quiso, Diego Gomez, Miguel Almiron are just a few that when they're in the open space, they can be really, really difficult to play against. They can defend really well, really hard, and they made it a bit of a nightmare to the point where tensions were boiling in that last game against Paraguay in the fall, and there was a bit of a fight at the end of the game, like right by the bench. Like there was, I think Miles Robinson was put in a headlock, or Alex Freeman was in. Mauricio Pochettino was trying to break it up and fell to the floor. And I was talking to Miles Robinson about this a couple weeks ago, and he was just like, yeah, man, like that was kind of a galvanizing spark for us. Like, we're a bunch of dogs. You got to let us out of the cage. So that's the kind of game that we're going to get against Paraguay. And I don't think that they're going to be too small for the moment or play like within themselves or play scared because they're going to get kicked and run. If they play like they did against Senegal, like they're going to win that game, and because they created a lot of chances and they've got the players to finish the chances. But this team has just been so Jekyll and Hyde that I'm assuming they're going to win, but Paraguay absolutely can put them to the sword, and like if we get the bad version of the USMNT, like they're not going to win. And you get even a draw, like but a loss would be pretty disastrous. But even a draw is like things are going to get really, really tense. Like Mike, at 2022, I almost forgot that like they drew the first game against Wales, and they ended up going into the final game of the group stage needing a win against Iran, and this was after getting a draw against England. Like I forgot how tense the middle part of that group stage was, and they don't want to have that again this year.
Yeah, every U.S. soccer opener seems to be like a culture war between me and the system over these last couple of managers, where I'm just kind of married to what's always worked with the United States: counterattacking, lean into your athletic advantages. Here, the team that would do that and exploit an attacking team with a counterattack is Paraguay, and we are uniquely susceptible to that, more so than I think we've ever been. Styles make fights. I want to believe. I'm ready to get hurt again. I will readily admit and be happy to admit that I am wrong about my perspective. The game has changed. But if they lose, we are burning things to the ground. If they lose, the odds got to say they're not getting out of this group at that point.
So I'm curious to see, and listen, I don't want to have more instances of bringing math into the game, but there are people smarter than me that can game out, okay, 3 points in the group stage equals X amount of percentage points to get through. I'm pretty sure 4 points gets you through because of so many third place teams getting through. 3 points, you might have a chance, but I think 4, you'd feel pretty good. So that comes down to if you draw Paraguay and beat Australia, because Australia, again, all due respect to them, is the game that you got to circle for 3 points. Both of these games,
being very careful around the Australians. They must be in your mentions plenty.
But so if they get a result against Paraguay, even if it's a draw, which again would be very disappointing, I don't want to let them off the hook for that, because finishing first gives them the best chance at going far in this tournament. Finishing third, you're really looking at a round of 32 exit, because you're going to play a much stronger team at that stage of the tournament. So, like, 4 points should do it, but it'd feel a whole lot better if you had 3 off the bat.
All right, Tom. I think I'll circle back with you after that Paraguay match and get a lay of the land. My fire alarm's going off in here because of all the open threats that we have both made about burning down the U.S. Soccer Federation if this doesn't go our way. Thank you so much for taking the time out, Tom. Again, you can follow him at The Athletic. He is breaking all sorts of MLS news, international soccer news, truly one of the best insiders in the business. Check him out on SoccerWise. And we have plenty of friends of The Le Batard Show on Golazo, and they do a tremendous job every morning with their network. Great coverage, great personalities. Tom is a part of that team, too. Thank you so much, Tom. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, Mike.
Oh, well, cheers to the both of you guys. Guys, the final round of the basketball season is here, and only DraftKings has you fully covered. The DraftKings Sports app is now available in all 50 states, and that includes every market. So you're in on the action at the speed of sports. New DraftKings customers sign up with code DAN, spend $5 and get $200 in bonus rewards within 21 days. That's code DAN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.